Morning everyone. So before start of the session, I will request that today we have the felicitation also. So first two chairs so far we have kept for the parents who will be accompanying with the children. So I will request everyone that first two should be kept empty for the parents. Yes. See, you can either now or after 11:30 also. I request everyone to please rise for the motto.
Yeshastuteshu jagrati Yeshastuteshu jagrati
We will be having both the sessions for one more ITR filing, amendment and practical issues, and ITR filing over disease by a legal heir. And both the sessions would be continuous only, there will not be any break in between. After that session, members can take the break. For ITR filing and practical issues, we have done with our past coordinator, Nilesh, Vasa, and for ITR filing of disease by legal heir, we have the young and dynamic speaker, Shah. So I request Vijay to please introduce this.
Good morning, members. So today we have on local speakers who are also board committee member of BCSC. So we welcome them. First the speaker is CA Nilesh. He is very relevant case for BCSC, but still a formal introduction of Nilesh. He is practicing chartered accountant since 1997 and worked in the name of Vasa and company. His major core field are income tax, GST as well as CDS. He is past member of BCSC. He is at present secretary of Shah Joins at Borivali. He was also conceptualized networking and knowledge sharing forum for CA fraternity, delivered lectures at WIRC study circle for CA members. He has organized very successful events with the fraternity like RRC and Sports Week. With this, I welcome Nilesh for today's session. I request the conveners to present the monitor. I request past conveners to present the contribution to CA to the speaker. Thank you, Nilesh, for accepting the invitation. Next, the speaker is Shah, again the co-committee member. He is partner in IHBD and company LLP since 2020 and also fellow member of our institute and a law graduate from Indian University. He has been experienced in order to get GD, that is grant writing, in India during his career and has diversified experience in services to manufacturing, retail, wholesale, media, e-commerce, and there is a long list of different industries. Apart from this, he is also convener at the Chamber of Tax Consultant. He is also from in the Direct Tax Committee as well as the Student Committee. He is a regular speaker and contributor at GSTPM, other federations, associations, ICAI study circles. Apart from that, even private institutions are income tax and other taxation matters. With this, I welcome you to this session. I request everyone to present the nominator. And also contribution to the CAI fund. I request you to take the charge of the session, please.
Good morning, friends. Thank you, conveners Ravi Soni, Pratik Maro, Vijay sir, and my Jugadangi speaker, Viral, today on the dais. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I know the ITR issues and filing is a live topic, and I am very sure it will always remain live and fulfilling till 31 December. I am very sure. Because now I think last Saturday only we got the utility of 2 and 3, 1 and 4 is already there, I will 1 month back. Still, ITR 3 utility has not started online. It is only the utility 1, 2 and 3, 4. Which is we are getting while our JSON file or say Excel utilities. Now the topic is very live because one thing is very sure, what we have faced in the utilities in the last 2 years, finance minister doesn't understand utilities and utility doesn't understand finance minister. ये fact है. दोनों का भी सिंक नहीं हो रहा है. Why the problem is that we don't know, but the utilities are still, because yesterday I checked the live utilities because I know 99% people must be using softwares. I think hardly anyone using utility, just anyone using utility, God bless really. Because yesterday I checked the utility, the ITR 2 and 3 utility,
it is so vast. They have meticulously made it, but it is so cumbersome. आप एक भी क्लिक करते हो, मतलब एनी क्लिक, इफ यू से आई वांट टू ऑप्ट फॉर न्यू रेजिम और ओल्ड रेजिम, आप जैसे न्यू रेजिम क्लिक करोगे पूरा यूटिलिटी 2 मिनट के लिए घूमेगा. इट विल रन बिकॉज इट विल हैव अ डिफरेंट चेक्स बिकॉज ऑफ दैट सिलेक्शन. अगेन दे विल आस्क यू वेदर यू हैव कैश 6%, 8%. जैसे आप क्लिक करोगे अगेन इट विल रन बिकॉज अ सैम्पल, आई जस्ट वॉन्टेड टू लर्न अ सैम्पल यूटिलिटी, बट आई कुडंट बिकॉज फॉर सैम्पल यूटिलिटी ऑल्सो यू हैव टू पुट 10 to 50 things inside, then only you get the answer. So utility is really vast. They have made it, maybe made it perfectly right, but we don't know the answer right now because yesterday still I got some bugs in that because the utility which I put the answer, I was not getting the right answer, which the answer we should get it. So please check the utility. Before utility, आप जब competition बनाते हो, प्लीज आपका कंपटीशन एक बार चेक कर लेना कि वेदर एज पर यू ऑल्सो आंसर इज देयर, बिकॉज मेजोरिटी आई नो. मैंने 2-3 जन को फोन किया, सर व्हाट इज द आंसर, सर जो यूटिलिटी बोले, सबका एक ही आंसर था जो यूटिलिटी बोले. मतलब वी आर थिंकिंग दैट यूटिलिटी इज द बेस्ट यूटिलिटी व्हाट वी आर डूइंग इट, बट इट इज नॉट से. सेकेंड थिंग, अ डिस्क्लेमर व्हाट आई वुड लाइक टू फर्स्ट, second thing, all the softwares, as we see, 95% people are using, 95% people are using softwares. Maybe it is Computex, it is Winman, it is ClearText, it is CA Office, everyone uses this software. Please see to it, all the softwares, some have already mentioned the disclaimer that they are not updated. Say example, I just heard that Winman has written that Monday ko hum log update karenge. Because they never mention anywhere whether they are updated or not updated. But still they also are facing the bug. For example, the software I am using, yesterday I checked, everything was proper. But there was one section which has already been changed, but it is not reflecting in that thing. So maybe they are still updating it. Before आप 2-4 बार ट्रायल करो, प्लीज 2-4 फर्स्ट 4 रिटर्न्स विल बी द रिटर्न्स जिसमें प्रॉब्लम्स हो सकते हैं. प्लीज चेक इट. जस्ट ऐसे नहीं है रिटर्न आया और आपने फाइल कर दिया ऑन द बेसिस दैट आपको लगेगा कि माय सॉफ्टवेयर इज द बेस्ट सॉफ्टवेयर. एवरी सॉफ्टवेयर में भी 95% परफेक्ट, बट देयर में भी 5% इश्यूज इन दिस. सो और ऐसा भी हो सकता है 99% देयर विल बी नो इशू, इतना मेजर इश्यूज नहीं रहेगा, लेकिन 1 or 2 issues will be such that you will face a problem. Your answer will be coming different and the assessment will be different. Last year we have seen that 5th July के पहले भरा तो ये रिबेट, 5th July के भरा तो वो रिबेट, आफ्टर दैट रेक्टिफिकेशन करो तो चेंज नहीं होगा, रिवाइज रिटर्न करो तो चेंज हो जाएगा. Still people don't understand why the rebate was not given in short term. Though on 5th July the utility had accepted it and we all got the rebate. But then while the assessment, the rebate was gone for short term capital gain. So that is the issue. So just one thing, before filing the return, utilities please check करना, और utilities hardly को use कर रहा है. So better check your software. Now first, because we have a very short time, so I will start with the changes which are there in our ITR filing this year. Now just to brief up, everyone knows the chart, income tax. Now up to 3 lakh it is free, 3 to 7 lakh it is 5%, 7 to 10 lakh it is 10%, 10 to 12 lakh it is 15%, and 15 to 20 it is 20%. 12 to 15 it is 20%, and above 15 it is 30%. Then there is a surcharge of 10% above 50 lakhs, above 1 crore it is 15%, and above 2 crore it is 28%. The last slab of 5%, which was having a 30% surcharge, is gone. Now everything is there is only in old regime. In new regime, ये सब चला गया है. In old regime, the ratio, the ratio is up to 2,50,000 it is nil, 2 lakh to 50,000 it is 5%, and 5 to 10 it is 20%, above 10 it is 30%. This is the ratio everyone knows, correct? Old regime, I think first year in old regime, 80% were in new regime, 20% were in old regime. Last year, 95% were in new regime, 5% were in old regime. Maybe this year, 98%, 99% will be in new regime, hardly 1% will be in old regime. Old regime तभी काम आएगा when your benefits are more than 4 to 5 lakh rupees. Say example, ATC, NPS, Mediclaim, housing loan interest, other benefits, ATG donation, ATD, everything. अगर ये quantum बहुत बड़ा है, because the tax liability on 15 lakhs till today is only 1,40,000, and in old regime it is very high. अगर आप 4 लाख का भी benefit लेते हो, still old regime is always beneficial. So we will not discuss much on old regime, because old regime is hardly for that 1%, rather than majority is a new regime. I think I am very clear. Is it true? Old regime hardly 1% will be there? Yeah, okay, fine. So this is the chart, everyone knows. Up to senior citizen, new regime, there is no change. Old regime, वो 2.5 लाख का 3 लाख हो जाता है, there is the only change. And above 80%, 80 years, there is no change in new regime. In old regime, up to 5 lakh rupees, it is nil, and then it is 5 to 10, it is 20%, and above 10 is 30%. This is a normal chart I have given. Now we will start with the changes. Achha, rebate is 12,500 in old regime, 25,000 in new regime. Now here I will ask you, किसी ने आज तक कभी सोचा है 25,000 होगा कैसे? 25,000 कभी हो ही नहीं सकता है. They have written 25,000, but 3 to 7 lakhs tax is only 20,000. The maximum rebate you get is 20,000. Last year they told it is 25,000. This year, because it was 25,000, because 3 to 6 it was 5%, 6 to 7 it was 10%, so tax 25,000 आता था, इसकी वजह से rebate was 25,000. But they have not changed that rebate. Only rebate is 20,000 for a normal income of 7 lakh, because once you cross 7 lakhs, 87 ही खत्म हो जाएगा. So how you will get the rebate? So 20,000, there is one possibility for 25,000 that I will discuss later. Only one possibility where you will get rebate of 25,000. Otherwise, maximum rebate is only 20,000. That is the only thing. In old regime, it is 12,500. Now, last year there was a confusion that when you will get the rebate. Now this year, totally what I am telling, it is on the base of utility. I will not jump into the legal angle, because in India there are 2 laws. एक law जो CBDT ने बनाया है और एक law जो Infosys ने बनाया है. और वो दोनों एक दूसरे का सुनते नहीं है. बिकॉज वी फॉलो यूटिलिटीज, बिकॉज आपका रिटर्न अल्टीमेटली यूटिलिटी से जाने वाला है. लॉ सही भी होगा लेकिन उसके लिए आपको फाइट करना पड़ेगा आगे जाके. लास्ट टाइम ऑल्सो सम स्पीकर टोल्ड दैट लास्ट ईयर जो रिबेट का झगड़ा है यू शुड अपील. सर वो पूरा झगड़ा 1 रुपये से लेके 25,000 के बीच का था, और एवरीवन नोज 1 रुपये से 25,000 के लिए कोई अपील नहीं करता है कभी भी. एंड मेजोरिटी पीपल हैव आइदर पेड द टैक्स, और ये तो उन लोगों को बता सकते हैं हम लोग जिन्होंने नोटिस आया था, दे गॉट द नोटिस एंड दे वेर सपोज टू पे द टैक्स. ऐसे जो क्लाइंट से जिसका रिफंड ऑलरेडी एडजस्ट हो चुका है उसको तो पता भी नहीं चला है कि उसका टैक्स आधा ज़्यादा कट गया था. दैट इज द इश्यू विथ अवर यूटिलिटी. So now rebate, I have told you it is 25,000, actually it is 20,000, but for the legal angle, they say it is 25,000. And margin relief, I think that people don't bother much because वो अपना software control कर लेते हैं. 50 lakhs, 1 crore, 2 crores, everywhere there is a margin relief. There is a small amount, 50 to 51 lakhs, 52 lakhs में वो play करेगा. Similarly, it also plays between 7 lakhs to 7 lakh 22,222. The return in this year, the marginal relief will play between, मतलब अगर किसी का income between 7 lakhs and 7 lakh 22,222 है, this will follow a marginal relief. Otherwise, marginal relief is not there. It straight comes at 50 lakhs. Okay. Now the first key changes we will start. Now this year, for ITR 1 and ITR 5, everyone knows ITR 1, you can file where you don't have more than 1 house property, you don't have agriculture income more than 5,000, you don't have a total income more than 50 lakh rupees. But earlier we were very sure that ITR 1 and 4 was, you don't have brought forward, carry forward loss, or you don't have capital gains. But from this year in ITR 1 and 4, a capital gains, long term, only long term capital gain, which is less than 1,25,000, for that also you can file ITR 1 and 4. There is the best part is that जो 1,25,000 उन्होंने पूछा है, मतलब less than 1,25,000 in ITR 1, there is no schedule for this. You don't have to give anything script wise. उन्होंने simple, see, मैं अभी भी बता रहा हूँ, software, your software asks you everything. क्योंकि आप software, because see, I know, I think all the software, what I have studied, सॉफ्टवेयर आपको ITR 1, 2, 3 पूछता ही नहीं है. यू जस्ट हैव टू फीड, देन इट डिसाइड्स कि आपको ITR 1 भरना है, 2 भरना है, 3 भरना है, 4 भरना है. सो बेसिकली अवर नॉलेज कि मुझे कौन सा रिटर्न भरना है वो हमने अभी छोड़ दिया है सोचना, बिकॉज वो अपना सॉफ्टवेयर सोचता है इसलिए. बट ITR 1 and 4, इफ यू हैव अ कैपिटल गेन्स लेस देन 1,25,000, दे आस्क यू ओनली 2 थिंग्स. आपका लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल गेन सेल कंसिडरेशन इज कितना है और आपका परचेस कितना है, कॉस्ट ऑफ एक्विजिशन. ओनली 2 फिगर्स दे आर आस्किंग, and if difference is less than 125, it accepts it. The reason I think so that utility में इसलिए उन्होंने ज़्यादा नहीं पूछा है, because anyway 1,25,000 is free. So they are not interested कि you are earning less than 1,25,000 because anyway it is free. So that thing for less than 125 they have mentioned in ITR 1 and 4. So that is the only change in ITR 1 and 4 this year, where you can also show long-term capital gain less than 1,25,000. Obviously, it is on listed securities. The 112A and 111 short, 112A, which is the section for when STT paid base listed securities. Second, initially last year, those who have applied for Aadhaar number, they have got enrollment number. That system has been closed now. If you don't have Aadhaar number, you have to get the Aadhaar number. Till date, you will not be able to file the return. They have stopped mentioning that Aadhaar enrollment number from this year. Compulsory, you have to mention Aadhaar number only, and then only the return will get filed. This thing also has happened 2 years back, but I'm very sure what happened earlier. Aadhaar link नहीं हुआ तो return नहीं भर सकते हैं. I think in 2023 or 24, last 2 दिन on 30th and 31st July, they removed that lock. सब लोग अपना रिटर्न भर सकते थे, बिकॉज दे नो दे अगर वो लॉक के पीछे जाएंगे तो लोग रिटर्न ही नहीं भर पाएंगे, एंड देन दे विल हैव टू पे पेनल्टी 5,000 and 10,000. बट दिस ईयर में दे मे नॉट डू दिस थिंग, बिकॉज ये आधार का स्टोरी अभी 3 साल से चल रहा है. दे हैव मेंशन एवरीवन टू लिंक आधार, बट नाउ इफ दे आर नॉट लिंकिंग द आधार, पीपल हैव टू फेस दिस थिंग. वन थिंग बिफोर दिस आधार एनरोलमेंट, अगर आप वेबसाइट ओपन करोगे, वेन एवर से दोज हू आर फाइलिंग यूटिलिटीज, आप अगर यूटिलिटीज पे क्लिक करोगे, स्ट्रिक्टली इन रेड कलर दे हैव मेंशन्ड any changes in profile please wait for 30 minutes because the profile changes takes 30 minutes to think. So please file the return after 30 minutes. ये disclaimer उन्होंने ऊपर ही लिखा हुआ है. If there is a new client, आप ऐसा नहीं है profile डाल दिया आपने फटाफट डाल दिया और you just file the returns. They have strictly said any change in your profile, it will take 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, you please try again and then you file the return. So don't be so much fast in that. Now this year. Now the problem, सबको पे confusion रहता है, opting out, opting in, क्या था, कैसे था. The clarity I will tell you, 23-24, everyone knows the compulsory law was new regime, right? Okay, 22-23, the compulsory was old regime. अभी एक चीज माइंड में रख लीजिए, 22-23 आपने ऑप्ट इन किया 10I भरा नहीं भरा जो भी है, that is a foregone story. Now the new story met your 22-23 का सिलेक्शन has nothing to do with this. Now वो आपने ऑप्ट आउट कर लिया या ऑप्ट इन कर लिया उसको भूल जाओ, because now that story doesn't continue. Now 23-24 से आपका स्टोरी स्टार्ट होगा. 23-24 obviously new regime was compulsory. If you have filed 10IEA and opted for old regime, now there will be 3 possibilities when you file this year return. जो अगर आपको देखेगा, because it is very small this thing, can I enlarge this here? Yeah. Now this year in your ITR 2 and 3, there are lots of options are given. First question is that whether you are opting for new regime, yes or no. अगर आपने yes कर दिया, फिर आपको कोई भी सवाल का जवाब नहीं देना है. Everything is over. If you say no, so if you say no, it means you had opted for old regime last year. So first question they will ask you, last year आपने अगर opt किया था, मतलब old के लिए opt किया था, तो what is your 10IEA acknowledgement number? What is your the date of filing the 10IEA? They will ask you. Second question, whether this year you are opting for old regime or new regime in 25-26 assessment year. There if you say no, means you are going for new regime, then no question asked, then you can continue. Again, if you say yes, I am going for old regime, okay, then they will ask you few questions, whether yes, the date of filing the 10IEA. If you want to file new regime this year, and if you say last year I was in old regime, this year I am in new regime, then they will again tell you to opt out, means you have to compulsorily file 10IEA. अगर आपने लास्ट ईयर ओल्ड रेजिम में फाइल किया है, इस साल न्यू रेजिम में फाइल करना है, कंपलसरी आपको 10IEA फाइल करना है. लेकिन अगर आपने लास्ट ईयर न्यू रेजिम किया है, ये साल में आपको न्यू रेजिम करना है, नो क्वेश्चन आस्क्ड. लास्ट ईयर न्यू रेजिम किया है, ये साल में आपको ओल्ड रेजिम करना है, अगेन आपको 10IEA भरना है. दैट इज कॉल्ड ऑप्ट आउट फ्रॉम न्यू रेजिम. उसके बाद आप एक ही बार न्यू रेजिम में एंटर कर पाओगे, उसके बाद नहीं कर पाओगे. लेकिन अगर आप लास्ट ईयर ऑलरेडी ओल्ड रेजिम में थे और आपको इस बार you are coming in new regime, means last year you opted in old regime, this year you are opting out of old regime, then the gate of old regime is closed for you. फिर वो 5 साल तक या जो भी लॉ है, see they have mentioned 5 साल तक आपको कंटिन्यू करना है. Nobody knows 5 साल के बाद का यूटिलिटी में वो लोग कैसे लॉक्स डालेंगे, बिकॉज टिल टुडे इन एनी ITR रिटर्न वो उन्होंने कभी नहीं पूछा है कि आपने कितने साल में कौन सा रेजिम सिलेक्ट किया था. सो वेदर द यूटिलिटी इज टेकिंग केयर और CBDT इज टेकिंग केयर ऑफ दिस थिंग, वी डोंट नो एज ऑफ नाउ, बिकॉज अभी तक किसी को क्वेरी आया नहीं और नोबडी नोज वेदर कोई चेक भी कर रहा है पीछे कि कौन से साल में किसने क्या ऑप्ट किया था. लेकिन 22-23 तक जो भी आपने किया था उसको भूल जाइए, इट इज़ नॉट इम्पॉर्टेंट. नाउ ओनली इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज 23-24 एंड 24-25. Now this year there is one more possibility. Those who have filed the return in ITR 1 and 2, everyone knows that ITR 1 and 2 में ना तो आपको 10IE फाइल करना है ना कुछ भी करना है. You can just jump from old to new. This year, if for example, if you are filing ITR 2 or ITR 3, maybe ITR 3, they also ask the question whether in 24-25 you had opted for old regime or new regime. There you have to mention that yes, I have opted for old regime. So this year if you are filing new regime, no issue. But if you are filing old regime, then again in ITR 3, you have to file 10IEA. Otherwise, you will not be able to file the return. ITR 2, nothing, no problem, because anyway you can jump here and there, those who are not having any business income. So that is the change, and it is a, this ITR form, see, lots of things they have mentioned. वो जो छोटा section था, whether old regime, new regime, now that has become a big part. Whether you opted for new regime in current assessment year, whether for ITR 2-3 without requirement of 10 IEA, whether you have filed your return last year without requirement of 10 IEA, I think there are no places. Pratik, I think, fine. Next change is in TDS section. Till date, I think maybe because we are using softwares, in utility or software, they normally in software what happens, वो direct 26 AS, AIS capture कर लेता है, आपको सारा data उधर से मिल जाता है. Then there was one column, you are offering this income under which head? Other sources, salary, capital gains, business income, we used to select it. Sometimes it may happen that the section is 194C, but you are a professional. Maybe किसी ने 194C select कर लिया, लेकिन you show it in 94J. So we used to select that it is not other sources or it is not something, it is business income. हम अपने हाथ से भी change कर सकते थे. This year they've added one more thing. You have to mention the section also. Apart from selecting the head of the income, you have to also mention you are offering this income under which section. In 94H, 94C, 94J, 94R, whatever the section is there. You have to mention that section also. Now, second, this part, new capital gains, it will take 10 minutes. We will do it in the end because सबसे crucial part यही है. इसमें ही इसी की वजह से utility was late because when I saw the utility and when I tried lots of, I think more than 40 types of examples I have tried on that utility, उससे पता चल गया कि utility को time क्यों लगा. क्योंकि utility, in fact ये confusion उन्होंने create किया है only because of the 23rd July. They had landed them in a lots of problems and lots of combinations have raised. And only because of that, this utility was late. They should have well prepared for that, but they had not prepared it. Now, only one thing, everywhere it is written, before 23rd July, after 23rd July, लेकिन कहीं पे भी ये सब जगह लिखा होता है on and after 23rd July. Please, आप उसको है ना after or before ही पकड़िए. There is nothing like on, though it is written. 23rd July से सब कुछ न्यू में ही है. 23rd July के पहले सब कुछ ओल्ड में है. For example, on 23rd July, if you say that budget came at 12 o'clock और मैंने 10 बजे agreement sign किया था, sorry, it is either it is after 23rd July or it is before 23rd July. There is nothing like on 23rd July. 23rd July law is what is there after 23rd July, the same law is there. So just because that's why I have highlighted over there, it is either 22 जुलाई तक आपने कुछ किया है या आपने 23 जुलाई से कुछ किया है. There is only two parts, not more than that. Okay. In future, जहाँ पे भी reference आएगा, I will just say before 23rd, after 23rd. So you please understand that it is July 2024. So this part we will take in the end, last, because it has lots of permutation combinations. Yeah. Now reporting of buyback as dividend, deemed dividend. This year, from this year, the law is not from 1st April, not the budget came on 23rd July. This law is from 1st October 2024. Any buyback, earlier whatever we were doing, now they have said that, for example, अगर आपके पास, say example, 10 Reliance के shares है and the company is buybacking that shares, and you get a check of 1 lakh rupees, they are deducting TDS on that, and that 1 lakh rupees you have to show in as a income from other sources as a deemed dividend. You don't have to show it as a capital gains. It is a deemed dividend. Second part, what you have to show, आपने Reliance के share 1 lakh में खरीदे थे, now it is buyback, whatever you received, you are offering in income from other sources. So they specifically told that in that case, you have to show in capital gains, your purchase price was 1 lakh rupees and your sale price was 0. You have to mention that sale price is 0. Whatever 1 lakh rupees capital loss you get, that loss, you will get it against any other capital gains, what you are having in that section. So just please take care in this buyback. Whatever buyback amount you get after 1st October 24, it is income from other sources, and equally you have to show loss on that capital gains. So sale proceed will be 0 amount and purchase will be the purchase price what you have bought. Now I am not going into deep कि सर वो grandfathering का क्या होगा, कैसे होगा. I think so they have not mentioned anything. So अगर आपने वो जब भी लिया होगा, जो भी value है आपको, I think date of your purchase amount, I think you have to put that only, because I don't think they have put in utility that if the things was purchased 10 years back, you put the price of 31st January 2018 what we are putting in grandfathering prices. वो कहीं भी लिखा नहीं है. So that clarity never they have given. So let's see what happens rest. Otherwise, purchase price is the same amount what you invested and sale price is 0. So this is a change this year. Now whatever things, this proving disability and everything, this will impact only those who are filing old regime. From this year, section 80DD, 80U. 80U, everyone knows, it is for handicapped peoples and everything. 80DD is for those who are supporting those handicapped peoples, any expenses for those people. So this 80DD, 80U, now this, last year also it was there form 10IA, but this year they have strictly put that 10IA compulsory hai, and they have asked few questions in 10IA. You have to get the certificate, you have to take online 10IA acknowledgement number, you have to mention everything, then only you will get this 80DD and 80U certificate, those who are going for old regime. Because this is an additional 1,25,000 benefit what you get in old regime. So as I told you, the difference is more than, if the difference is more than 4 to 5 lakh rupees, वो 4-5 लाख रुपया तभी बनेगा आप ये सारे sections use कर रहे हो. Interest on housing loan, 80C, 80D, 80U, 80 that NPS section, and any other donation section, everything. Then only you will be able to do old regime. और old regime में आपको 7 लाख से 3 लाख तक जाना है, तभी आपको 5 लाख तक जाना है. So ये benefit 3-4 लाख का benefit जिसको है वो ही old regime opt करेगा. Otherwise I think everyone will go for new regime this year. Now second thing is that the schedule AL, those who were earlier having income more than 50 lakh rupees, gross total income, were supposed to mention, because those who are not making balance sheets, for example, you are filing ITR 2, where there is no requirement of putting the figures of the balance sheet. So say your income from other sources is 60 lakh rupees. So in that case, you were supposed to show assets and liabilities. That was the schedule AL, which was compulsory for the peoples who were showing income more than 50 lakhs. That figure they have revised to 1 crore this year. So now, if your income is more than 1 CR, then only schedule AL is applicable, otherwise it is not applicable. Now, enhanced disclosure for HRA. This also only those who are going for old regime. This is nothing for new regime. They have mentioned this year few checks. पहले तो हम लोग HRA का खाली figure लिख देते थे कि this is my HRA figure. Now it is not that way. You have to mention place of work, actual HRA received, actual rent paid. This is the only thing. जो formula हमने अपने study किया था when we used to become a CA. Here is a formula: 10% excess of 10% rent paid, actual rent paid in metro cities, non-metro cities. ये जो question है, they have asked. Only the research, well, only thing what I have came to know, why they have asked for place of work. I don't. Then when I checked it out in some articles and everywhere, place of work इसलिए पूछा है. The experts what they have told, they उन्होंने इसको लग रहा है कि many times people were claiming HRA and claiming interest on housing loan, and both the places were in the same city. For example, आप बोरीवली में ही हो, आप HRA भी claim कर रहे हो और आप आपका घर का rent भी pay कर रहे हो. So because of that, they are asking for place of work. Still, I believe, I don't think so. It can be challenged. ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है. You are having a 1 bedroom hall flat आपने खरीदा है, आप उसका इंटरेस्ट और लोन पे कर रहे हो, लेकिन नाउ योर रिक्वायरमेंट इज 2 bedroom, सो आपने भाड़े पे ले लिया है, सो यू आर पेइंग रेंट. इट इज वेरी मच पॉसिबल. नाउ बिकॉज ऑफ दिस प्लेस ऑफ वर्क के वजह से अगर आगे दे मे हैव सम चेक्स दैट वी विल नॉट अलाउ यू इंटरेस्ट ऑन हाउसिंग लोन ऑन दिस HRA, वी डोंट नो, बट द एक्सपर्ट्स कमेंट वॉच इज गिवन, इट इज ओनली बिकॉज ऑफ दैट प्लेस ऑफ वर्क शायद इसीलिए पूछा है कि कभी कभी लोग एक ही प्लेस में रह के, हो सकता है कभी कभी तो आजू बाजू के बिल्डिंग में रहते हैं, HRA भी क्लेम करते हैं, एंड दे यूज टू क्लेम इंटरेस्ट ऑन हाउसिंग लोन ऑल्सो. So for that reason, they must have asked place of work, but this will come only in old regime. So please take care of that thing. Similarly, in old regime, home loan. Whenever there is a home loan where we take deduction under section 24B, 80E and 80EA, 80E is education loan and everything. So in this year, they have asked for the mention that name of the loan giver, loan account number, date of sanction of loan, total amount of loan, closing balance at the year end, and interest amount for the year. These things they used to ask. ये क्यों पूछा होगा? Everyone, मतलब ऐसा लग रहा है every now department is also using artificial intelligence. कभी कभी लोग क्या करते हैं, लास्ट ईयर वाइफ का इनकम ज़्यादा है तो बेबी इट इज जॉइंट प्रॉपर्टी है, वाइफ ने इंटरेस्ट क्लेम कर लिया, ये साल से हस्बैंड ने इंटरेस्ट क्लेम करना चालू कर दिया, बट बिकॉज ऑफ दिस क्लोजिंग बैलेंस एट द ईयर एंड नाउ एवरीथिंग विल हैव अ लॉक. नेक्स्ट ईयर you have to start from the figure where you have shown the closing balance. So that is maybe the reason for housing loan interest. That will also applicable only in old regime, because see this all thing will happen only जिसका इनकम 8 लाख से नीचे है. ओल्ड रेजिम में वही आदमी जाएगा जिसका इनकम 8 लाख से नीचे है और उसको मालूम है कि मैं 8 लाख को 5 लाख तक खींच सकता हूँ. Only those people will go in old regime. Otherwise, nobody will go in old regime. Because anyway, everyone knows that the tax benefit what they have given in new regime is so huge कि कभी आपको ओल्ड रेजिम में जाने की जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगी उसके बाद. Second, ATC deductions. Initially, now this thing, PPF, LIC, everything. Now you have to mention document receipt number. Maybe आपको LIC में if there is a receipt number ठीक है, वरना policy number you have to mention, but receipt number होता ही है, तो you have to mention document receipt number. PPF account number, I think so. PPF doesn't give any receipt. I think maybe in your online, if that entry has some number given, then you can mention that account number and receipt number. Insurance policy number is also asked this time. Yeah. So this three thing is asked. अभी problem इसमें किसको होगी? Sometimes it was happening in Mediclaim that you are paying 1 lakh rupees Mediclaim, 50,000, maybe it is a joint wife and husband. You know that you get the benefit for a senior citizen only 50,000 or maybe 25,000. So people used to do आधा इधर दिखा दे, आधा उधर दिखा दे Mediclaim. Maybe you must have given checks also that way, because Mediclaim company accepts the checks, 2 checks also they are accepting, some of the Mediclaim companies. But this will put a lock. अगर आपने एक नंबर एक बार दे दिया है, now it is not made clear. अगर आप वो दोनों नंबर दोनों रिटर्न में डालोगे, what will be the implications? Maybe only because of this cross check they have done this thing, because now you can mention one LIC policy in one SSC only, because I think all must have seen the articles last year. WhatsApp में वो चल रहा था कि 40 lakhs notices has been issued for fake deductions what your people have taken. क्योंकि what simple है, there are maybe consultants or all are other than chartered accountants. सर आप क्लेम ले लो ना, कोई पूछता नहीं है. आपने अगर 1 लाख रुपए LIC भरा है, वाइफ में भी ले लो, हस्बैंड में भी ले लो, अगर पूछेगा तो रिसीट दिखा देना. Sometimes if wife premium is there and we used to pay it from husband's account, and the law says either of the spouse who pays the tax, pays the premium, gets the benefit. लेकिन वो किसको मालूम पड़ेगा कि आपने इसमें से भरा था कि उसमें से भरा था, बिकॉज ITR 2 कुछ नहीं पूछता है आपको. सो आप अगर दोनों में क्लेम करोगे और दोनों में स्क्रूटिनी आ गया, वाइफ में आएगा तो यू विल शो दैट सर रिसीट ऑफ वाइफ इज देयर, सो इट इज ओके. और अगर हस्बैंड में आता है तो यू विल प्रूव दैट सर मैंने पेमेंट किया था इसका, सी माई बैंक अकाउंट. So people used to claim it from both the sides. Those who were doing it, I understand that 99% from our profession no one will do this type of things. But people were using it. That's why they had put the check of document of receipt number, PPF account number, and insurance policy number this year in ATC. ATD, same thing, name of the insurance company, policy, and document number. This thing you have to mention if you are going for old regime and you are claiming deduction for Mediclaim under section 80D. Same way for 80DDB, same thing. Now 80DDB is for deduction of treatment of specified disease. Now this thing, you have to specifically mention the name of that disease also. Name of the specified disease you have to mention, because in this disease, say example cancer, brain tumor, all these things they have given. It is not that आपको fracture हुआ और आप 80DDB ले सकते हो. It is not for that. So there are special diseases for that reason. Say example, I think major thalassemia is there. All these diseases, they were given the benefit. So now you have to mention the name of special disease. ATE, education loan, same thing like interest on housing loan, what we have mentioned under section 24B, name of the lender, bank name, loan account number, date of loan, sanction, total amount, everything you have to mention. Same thing for interest on loan from electric vehicle. This year, if you are claiming interest on loan from electric vehicle, all the same things you have to mention. मतलब basically आपको सारा detail देना है वो loan के बारे में. Nothing, only figure से काम नहीं होगा. Now this year, what the circular has told, this year GST details are mandatory. You have to mention GST number and turnover correctly. So please check for any mismatch of actual turnover and GST turnover. ये बोलने के लिए मैंने भी बोल दिया. This is not possible. Technically, it is some 99% is possible, but and one first thing, software पे जितने भी software है, please भरोसा मत करना, because I know they capture the figure. Sometimes wrong figure is captured directly in your software in GST amount. So please check with your GST details also whether that turnover is matching or not. But ये question उन्होंने पूछ लिया है, लेकिन if you have sold the asset, क्या करोगे? Your turnover may be 1 CR, but your GST turnover may be 1,50,000 CR. There may be 100% difference in few cases where GST turnover will not be same with your sales you are showing in P&L account. But what I suggest, please write the figure which is in your GST. Though it is different, आप वो छोड़ दो उसका क्वेश्चन, क्योंकि इफ यू विल राइट द फिगर व्हाट यू हैव शोड इन सेल्स, देन ऑल्सो दैट AI विल ट्रिगर दैट दिस इज नॉट मैचिंग. अगर आप गलत लिखते हो तो मे बी यू हैव टू गिव अ रिकंसिलेशन इन फ्यूचर. रिकंसिलेशन गिविंग इज मोर इजी रादर देन पुटिंग रॉन्ग फिगर. So whatever GST turnover का figure है, you just put, because sometimes your turnover may be nil and you have sold a machinery for say 3 crores. Your GST turnover may be 3 crores, but your sales may be 0. It may happen that way. So this GST figure, everyone knows that it comes in AIS. AIS से आपको figure मिल जाता है. AIS भी, I think 3 days back I have checked. AIS is also not updated. It is updated. GST figure is updated only up to December. First 3 quarters were updated. 4th quarter GST figures still are not updated in AIS. So I don't know when they will update it, but without that आप मूव नहीं कर सकते हो. Otherwise आपने जो GST returns आपने अगर खुद भरे हैं, whatever your software or whatever your working says that this is a turnover, you please mention that figure. मतलब it is a, that there is also question. ये जो figure आता है GST turnover का, ये 3B का total आता है कि GSTR 1 का total आता है? Basically ये GSTR 1 का total आता है. What they have mentioned is GSTR 1, and GSTR 1 और 3B भी different हो सकते हैं. Only reason GSTR 1, if you show GSTR 1 में any entry, for example April 24 GST 1, if you have missed out some March sale, so definitely you will mention in your April GSTR 1. When you mention in April GSTR 1, that figure goes in 23-24, it doesn't reflect in 24-25. But when you file 3B, that figure is included in 3B, in April 24 3B. So आपका 3B का figure और GSTR 1 का figure अलग ही होगा हमेशा. लेकिन GSTR 1 is the actual turnover of that year. So basically it should be GSTR 1 figure and not GSTR 3 figure. Okay, so please mention that thing. Now we will come to the capital gains part. Now, yeah, this is a chart. Everyone, I think it is not more visible. Yeah. Now this year for capital gains, there are 5 options: listed securities, listed preference shares, unlisted securities, unlisted shares, and foreign securities and other assets. So now this year, listed is 12 months. It was from earlier, it was 12 months. Unlisted preference were 12 months. For unlisted long-term capital gain, it is 24 months. And unlisted shares for non-resident also, it is 24 months. Now, for the transfers, before the rate, whatever rate was there last year, all the rates will be applicable. From 23rd July, shares compulsory, it is 10% without indexation. For listed preference shares, they have given it is without indexation or 20% with indexation. For unlisted, that indexation benefit is there. 20% benefit is there for unlisted shares. And the rates for transfer on or after 23rd July, everything it is 12.5%. Initially, the rates are written in shares, it was 10% without indexation, now it is 12.5%. Initially, it was 20% without indexation, now it is 12.5%. For everything, it is 12.5% after 23rd July 2024. This is the rate. The surcharge will come everywhere. Surcharge will come everywhere. Now, listed debt instruments. Any listed debenture and bond, it is 12 months. Initially, it was 10% without indexation. Now it is 12.5%. Zero coupon bonds, it is 12%. Any unlisted debenture and bonds, it is neither 12%, it is neither 24 months, sorry, neither 12 months, 24 months, it is 36 months. After 3 years, only it will become long term. Otherwise, it is deemed to be a short-term capital gain under Section 50AA. Now, yeah, now we will start with the capital gains. Now, I will just ask question. Please, honestly, आप answer करना. If I am having a long-term capital gain before 23rd July, 4 lakh rupees. If I am having a long-term capital gain after 23rd July, 4 lakh rupees, total capital gains is 8 lakh rupees. 1,25,000 कहाँ से मिलेगा? पहले वाले में से कि दूसरे वाले में से? पहले वाले में से मिलेगा, वो प्लीज हैंड ऊपर कीजिए. और सेकंड वाले में से? अच्छा, बाकी लोग को कैपिटल गेन्स होता ही नहीं है कभी भी. बाकी लोग सेम. सी दिस 3-4 क्वेश्चंस आई आल्सो आस्क्ड विरल सर, क्या आंसर है? सर इतना पूछ क्यों रहे हो, यूटिलिटी करेगा वो हम कर लेंगे क्या? हाँ देखो आप पूछो ही मत. ओके मतलब द यूटिलिटी इज द ऑप्शन ऑफ द एसएससी. मतलब यू कैन प्ले विद, नहीं आप मुझे बताइए ना, आपका ऑप्शन है लेकिन आप ऑप्शन सिलेक्ट कहाँ करोगे? आपके यूटिलिटी में या आपके सॉफ्टवेयर में सिलेक्शन तो आना चाहिए ना, फ्रॉम वेयर यू वांट टू सेट ऑफ. आपको ऊपर से लेना है, नीचे से लेना है, कहाँ से लेना है आपको? नहीं है. व्हाट आई थिंक आफ्टर स्टडिंग ऑल द परमिशन कॉम्पिटिशन, हमेशा ये झगड़ा होता था कि डिपार्टमेंट सेज इट इज बेनिफिशियल टू अस एंड एसएससी सेज जो हमको बेनिफिशियल है हम वो करेंगे. पहली बार फर्स्ट टाइम एवर डिपार्टमेंट हैज मेड दिस यूटिलिटी इन सच अ वे इट इज एवरीथिंग इज बेनिफिशियल टू द एसएससी. That 1,25,000 gets deducted from your 4 lakh rupees after 23rd July. So example, if your capital gains is 4 lakh rupees or before 23rd July, you have to pay 40,000, and after 4 lakh rupees, you have to pay 12.5% on 2,75,000 only. This is the utility. आज तक आई के डिस्क्लेमर, ये अभी तक घर से आया तब तक ये यूटिलिटी था और यही आंसर्स थे. हाँ उसके बाद क्या होगा मुझे पता नहीं. ये रिटर्न भरने के बाद उनको मालूम पड़ेगा कि हमने गलत कर दिया है, तो मे बी दे चेंज द यूटिलिटी, फिर नोटिस भी आ सकते हैं. सो टिल टुडे नाउ दिस इज द फर्स्ट पॉसिबिलिटी, 4 लाख आपको मिल जाएगा. नाउ सेकंड थिंग, यू हैव 4 लाख रुपीज गेन एंड 2 लाख रुपीज लॉस. सो 10% वाला गेन, 12.5% वाला लॉस सेटअप होगा कि नहीं होगा? होगा. तो फिर टैक्स किसका लगेगा? 10% का लगेगा, 12.5% का लगेगा? करेक्ट. सो 10% का टैक्स आपको लगेगा. दैट इज वेरी ट्रू. दे बिकॉज सी व्हाट दे हैव बिलीव्ड 23rd जुलाई, ये उनकी प्रॉब्लम थी, उन्होंने बीच में साल में गलती कर दी, उसकी वजह से दे हैड टू फेस दिस लॉट्स ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स. अदरवाइज एसएससी नथिंग हैज टू डू. हमारे लिए तो फाइनेंशियल ईयर है फ्रॉम अप्रैल टू मार्च. सो बिकॉज ऑफ दैट दे हैव गिवन मेजॉरिटी बेनिफिट्स फॉर आफ्टर 23rd जुलाई, बिकॉज द पीरियड इज ओनली 3 months and 23 days, लेकिन ज़्यादा पीरियड तो इट इज आफ्टर 23rd जुलाई. So if it is gain loss, same way, if it is 2 lakh rupees loss and 4 lakh rupees gain afterwards, then the difference will be on 12.5 and not on 10%. That is the way. One more thing. Now, 4 लाख रुपया गेन पहले किया, 4 लाख रुपया गेन बाद में किया, और शॉर्ट टर्म लॉस 50,000 पहले आया मेरे को बिफोर 23rd जुलाई. अभी वो किसके सामने? बिकॉज शॉर्ट टर्म लॉस कैन बी सेट ऑफ अगेंस्ट लॉन्ग टर्म गेन, दैट इज वेरी श्योर. उल्टा नहीं हो सकता है, लेकिन दैट कैन बी हैपन. नाउ 50,000 लॉस बिफोर 23rd जुलाई, कितने लोगों को लगता है कि वो 23rd जुलाई के पहले के लॉन्ग टर्म के सामने एडजस्ट होगा? या कितने लोगों को लगता है होना चाहिए? चलो आई विल पुट इट डिफरेंट वे. करेक्ट. ओके फाइन. ये भी नहीं हो रहा है. 4 लाख 8 lakhs, लेकिन दैट 50,000 loss of short term capital gain, whether it is before 23rd July or whether it is after 23rd July, it's get deducted from the 4 lakh rupees which is after 23rd July. So now your answer will be, in 4 lakh rupees 10% you have to pay, and next 4 lakh rupees minus 125 minus 50,000 225 12.5% this is getting calculated. I know एक बार आप रिटर्न भरना चालू करोगे, nobody looks it, और आप यूटिलिटी के भरोसे पे रहते हो. एटलीस्ट आई रिक्वेस्ट पहले 4-5 रिटर्न वेयर द कैपिटल गेन से प्लीज क्रॉस चेक विथ योर वर्किंग, कि जो मेरे माइंड में है या जो वर्किंग आना चाहिए वही आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है. क्योंकि मे बी आफ्टर 10 सॉफ्टवेयर रनिंग इन द मार्केट, एक सॉफ्टवेयर में भी गलती होगा और वो गलत कुछ कैलकुलेट कर लेगा, आपको कभी नहीं मालूम पड़ेगा. रिटर्न विल गेट फाइल्ड बिकॉज येस्टरडे चेकिंग दिस ITR यूटिलिटी, बिकॉज एनीवे मैं ITR यूटिलिटी ITR 2 पूरा भर नहीं सकता हूँ, क्योंकि सैंपल भरने के लिए भी यू हैव टू पुट 50 थिंग्स इन दैट रिटर्न, देन ओनली यू कैन चेक. तो ईजीएस्ट वाज व्हाट पीपल टोल्ड मी, आप क्या करो, यू गो विथ योर सॉफ्टवेयर से जीनियस हो, विनमैन हो या आपका क्लियर टेक्स्ट हो, यू कीप दैट रिटर्न रेडी, प्रिपेयर अ JSON file. In the utility there is an option to import JSON. So import that JSON file, and once you import that JSON file, all the data you will get it in that return, and then you start your homework and working. वो utility का JSON file मैंने उसमें डाला. Still when I'm putting calculate text or I'm validating, it is saying sorry, this error, this error, this error. वो कहाँ पे error है मुझे नहीं पता चल रहा है. It is saying I am not having any salary income. Still the message come, 10 of the employer under TDS 2 is not mentioned. अरे जब मेरा सैलरी नहीं है तो मैं 10 एम्प्लॉय लिखूँ कहाँ से उसका? Still it is showing me error. अभी पीपल विल से नहीं सर आपका ही गलती होगा, 100% आपकी यूटिलिटी में या आपके कंप्यूटर में या कुछ भी गलती हो सकता है. आई वुड लाइक टू टेल यू, जो जेसन मैंने अपलोड किया ITR 2 वो रिटर्न में 15 दिन पहले भर चुका हूँ, वो रिटर्न ऑलरेडी भर गया है, परफेक्टली इट हैज बीन फाइल्ड. I got the acknowledgement, I got the refund also for that. So JSON is absolutely perfect. So it seems that there are still some utility में bugs रहेंगे, maybe. So because normally what people do, utility में जो लोग utility use कर रहे हैं वो उसके पास data होता ही नहीं है. They only have that pre-filled JSON data, what they get from the income tax. तो pre-filled JSON data will be always be right because वो भी income tax नहीं बनाया है और utility भी income tax नहीं बनाई है. So that you will get it. The JSON what we are using it is from our own private software. वो हम उसमें पेस्ट करते हैं, इसकी वजह से वो नहीं होता है. So that is the error. Maybe it get rectified in some days. Now the third thing, 4 lakh, 50,000 loss here, 50,000 loss after 20th July. Now I think everyone knows the answer. उसका आंसर आई विल जस्ट, इट इज़ नॉट दैट पहला 50,000 का लॉस पहले 4 लाख में से जाएगा, दूसरा 50,000 का लॉस दूसरे 4 लाख में से जाएगा, ऐसा नहीं हो रहा है. यूटिलिटी इज टेलिंग 4 lakh, 8 lakh rupees minus 1 lakh rupees. So your answer is 7 lakh rupees. Now 4 lakh पे you pay 10% और rest 3 lakh rupees minus 1,25,000 you pay 12.5%. This is the way utility is operating. Now one more this equation, really ridiculous, but this is happening. मान लो 4 lakh rupees, 4 lakh rupees. This is the answer, and you have a loss of 50,000. कहीं भी रहने दो, because anyway it is going to adjust after 20th July, so we will not mention कि आपने short term gain loss कहाँ किया था. Now in the same year, you have a long term capital gain on sale of property, and that is also before 20th July से indexation का part है, and you have a say 10 lakh rupees long term capital gain. Now in this return you are lending with 5 things. Long term capital gain 10 lakh rupees on sale of property, 4 lakh rupees long term capital gain on sale of shares, 4 lakh rupees long term capital gain on sale of shares after 20th July, and 50,000 short term loss. तो आप 50,000 अभी कहाँ से एडजस्ट करोगे? चलो वो तो अभी मैंने इतना पूछ लिया है इसलिए सबको मालूम पड़ जाएगा. 100% नॉर्मली पीपल को लग रहा है शेयर बाजार की आइटम शेयर बाजार के साथ होनी चाहिए. यूटिलिटी इट इज नॉट डूइंग दैट वे. दैट 50,000 लॉस इज गेटिंग एडजस्टेड फ्रॉम दैट इंडेक्सेशन ऑफ योर सेल ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी कैपिटल गेन्स. सो 10 लाख में से वो 50,000 माइनस हो रहा है. मतलब बेसिकली दिस इज अ लॉस टू द डिपार्टमेंट. जो आप 10% या 12.5% का टैक्स कम कर सकते थे उसकी जगह पे योर 20% टैक्स इज गेटिंग लेस. सो योर 10 lakh rupees. नाउ इफ यू विल सी शेड्यूल SI, व्हेनेवर आई विल जस्ट रिक्वेस्ट, एक दिन 2 घंटा बिगाड़ के प्लीज ऑनलाइन कोई भी एक सिंपल क्लाइंट का रिटर्न ऑनलाइन भरना मत. जस्ट गो चेक इट, बिकॉज आई हैव डन द सेम थिंग. जस्ट फाइल, पुट ऑनलाइन फिगर्स अपने हिसाब से, जितने नॉर्मल फिगर्स, आपको डिडक्शन ATC ये वो कुछ नहीं डालना है. जस्ट पुट इनकम फ्रॉम अदर सोर्सेज, पुट सम कैपिटल गेन्स हियर एंड देयर एंड चेक व्हाट इज द आंसर यू आर गेटिंग. इन शेड्यूल SI विच इज गॉट स्पेशल इंटरेस्ट स्पेशल टैक्सेशन रेट, they says that 10 lakh rupees में से 50,000 कम होएगा, that 9,50,000 पे ही 20% कैलकुलेट हो रहा है, and not what we were earlier we discussed before we were not having that capital gains from the property. So this is the feedback that short-term capital loss is getting adjusted only from all the figures after 20th July, and even if you have the figure of property, it is adjusting from that property figure. Now I think last time also somebody questions, अगर 20th July के पहले if I am selling some property and I am doing indexation, and after 20th July I am selling one property where 12.5% is more feasible for me. Say in your indexation में आपको loss आ रहा है और 12.5 में आपको profit आ रहा है, whether it will get set off? 100% they have to allow the set off. Only reason 20th July हमने नहीं बोला था आपको बीच में लाने के लिए. For me it is a financial year, but in this case you can understand you will be saving your tax, because अगर आपका 20% वाला लॉस 12.5% के सामने एडजस्ट हो रहा है, whatever implication is there उतना कम हो जाएगा, and it is vice versa. If you are having indexation में profit और 12.5% में, आप 12.5% में तो लॉस आ ही नहीं सकता है कभी भी. 12.5 it is impossible you have a loss because the difference of purchase and sale. आ सकता है if you have a purchase is more and sale is less, but अगर वो sale is less है, it means that you are not following that 50C regulations, because stamp duty में it can never be less. yes, there can be less, लेकिन there is a different thing. It happens. I have personally faced विरार, वसई, यहाँ पे whatever is your cost, उससे भी कम उसकी रेकनर वैल्यू है. Whatever सेल प्राइस, आप जितने में भी सेल करते हो ना, उससे भी कम उसकी स्टैम्प ड्यूटी वैल्यूएशन है. So that is a problem. They are, sorry, more. Stamp duty valuation is more than what your sale consideration is there. That is the basic problem what they are facing, because वहाँ पे the rates are that ground floor का rate अगर 10,000 है, second floor, third floor rates are 5,000, 6,000, and because of that stamp duty valuation is at 8,000 rupees. So many people are facing, but it is not to worry, because they get a query, then you just have to, sir, refer this case to DVO, Departmental Valuation Officer, and then you get a report from there, and the matter gets solved. कैसे solve होता है? Oh, that one line is there at the discretion of the officer. And what is the discretion of the officer? I think all CAs know how to manage it. So that is the problem over there. So, 5 minutes. So that is the thing. Yeah. Now one query, two things which to be understood. Those who have sold the flat, there were three options. Either you buy the bonds within 6 months, either you purchase the property, or either you buy something 1 year before, 2 years after. Okay, but if you can't buy that property in 2 years, then you have to put that money in capital gains account scheme, correct, in the bank account, which is a very tedious and very cumbersome process. वो पैसा जाता है, लेकिन कभी आने के लिए everyone knows वो कितना मेहनत करना पड़ता है, वो capital gains account में. But now the law was that you have to invest the capital gains amount before 31st of July. Actually, it is never written 31st July. It was written before the due date of filing the return. So this year we presume date should be 15th September. अगर किसी ने नहीं पे किया है, अगर 31st के पहले वो डिपॉजिट करना चाहता है, तो प्लीज एडवाइज द क्लाइंट, कर लो भाई 31st के पहले, रादर डोंट वेट फॉर 15 सितंबर. बट स्टिल ही वांट टू टेक चांस कि नहीं 15 सितंबर तक शायद मेरा एग्रीमेंट ही हो जाएगा, बेटर है वेट फॉर 15 सितंबर. अदरवाइज दे वर नो वेयर इट इज मेंशन 15 सितंबर. Now there is one more important crux in this, but before that I would just ask Viral, all this procedure, before I take this capital gains section, just 2 points are there. Viral will explain you the important point of the legal hire in income tax return, what we are doing it, because most of them have the queries that how to get a refund of the legal hires. So I would request Viral to just please explain that part, and then in just last, the most important part in this capital gains working in indexation, in 20% and 12.5%, nobody realized that कहाँ उन्होंने game खेल लिया है. So that I will just explain after Viral will explain. Yeah, Viral, please. 100%. उसी के लिए तो ये मेहनत की है. Delayed will you will have to pay the interest under 234B, C, A तो लगेगा नहीं, and second thing, the refund पे भी interest उनको उतना late देना पड़ेगा. They are paying anyway 1%. They are charging 1%. They are paying I think 6% or 8% interest on refund. 6%. So वो तो कम ही आने वाला है आपको. Yeah. No. It is not mentioned anywhere. That initially when they used to extend the date, specifically they had mentioned that हम date 30th July का 31st August कर रहे हैं, लेकिन subject to you pay all your asset tax before 31st July. It was specifically mentioned in that case. On those cases, here they have not mentioned anything. क्योंकि they will not mention, उनको मालूम है ना कि गलती उनकी है, अब तक तो फॉर्म्स आए नहीं आज तक, तो how you will file the return? 100% नहीं लगेगा, और लगेगा तो फिर all are CA.
Good morning, everyone. Wonderful crowd today. Absolutely.
seniors of the dais and on the dais, and this wonderful platform of Borivali CP. I'm grateful to every one of you for getting this opportunity to, give my views on this subject. To begin this session, I will start on a very light note. एक बार हुआ ऐसा कि यमराज जी और भगवान ने मीटिंग किया जॉइन. They were scratching their heads कि पहले तो अच्छे से लोग आते थे, आपको यमराज जी ने उनका काम कर लिया, उसके बाद लोग अच्छे से आते थे, भगवान अच्छे से उनको या तो स्वर्ग या तो नरक भेजते थे. बट काफी टाइम से लोग बहुत कम हो गए. तो भगवान जी ने पूछा कि यमराज आपका काम तो सही से कर रहे हो ना? सो यमराज सर, हाँ सर मैं तो सही से कर रहा हूँ एकदम. लेट मी चेक कि कहाँ इशू है. थोड़े दिनों के बाद उन्होंने अपने टीम में मीटिंग किया यमराज जी ने और वापस भगवान के पास गए. सर मैंने एनालिसिस कर लिया क्या इशू है. सर मेरे काम करने के बाद आफ्टर द डेथ ऑफ एसएससी इनकम टैक्स वाले नोटिस भेज रहे. इसलिए जो पर्सन का डेथ हो गया है वो पृथ्वी लोग छोड़ ही नहीं पा रहे, इसलिए आपके यहाँ पे बहुत कम लोग आ रहे हैं. सो ये टॉपिक इतना इंपॉर्टेंट है. बेंजामिन फ्रैंकलिन ने बहुत फेमसली कोट किया था, everything in this life is uncertain except for death and income taxes. Definitely death and taxes both are inevitable, and especially in our country where the obligation of a dead person is not over even after death to pay his taxes. Today my session's objectives that I'm going to create is I'm going to lay a legal foundation of what laws and provisions are surrounding all the disease assessees. I'm going to show you the practical filing process, how to add your representative assessee, and your normal question basics about the ITR filing of your diseased person, and given the time that we have been allotted, I'm keeping all the case laws and disputes aside for this session. I'm going to be as layman as possible, as generic as possible, कि एकदम simple से पता चल जाए. To begin with, in the pursuit of life, we all humans have started running so much behind the living that we all have forgotten how to live. And ये हमको तब जाके हिट होता है जब अपनी बारी होती है to leave. And at that time हम पूरा बैलेंस शीट एकदम प्रॉपर्ली बनाना चालू करते हैं, saying what we could use, what we couldn't use, and what I have to transfer to my loved ones ahead. And at this critical point, we as tax consultants and as chartered accountants play a very pivotal role, or should play a very pivotal role, in terms of succession planning, in terms of will, in terms of minimizing the tax liabilities that should happen and maximizing the net worth that should pass on. Hence, this is a very critical area, and obliged to present my views on this. So to begin with the legal provisions, the first and foremost legal provision is section 139. It is a primary section जहाँ पर assessee के ऊपर एक duty दिया गया है to file the returns. So there is nothing specific that has been mentioned about a disease assessee. So all the provisions, just a second. So to take you through the legal provisions, the first section says nothing is specifically mentioned. Everything and anything that is applicable to a living assessee is applicable to a dead assessee as well. So all your general provisions of, if your income is above the basic exemption limit, or if you are holding any assets outside India, your deposit is more than 1 crore, or your foreign expenditure of travel is more than 2 lakhs, so on and so forth. What has been specified for a living assessee is all applicable to a dead assessee. So if you fall in that and your assessee has died in that year, then it is compulsory for you to file your return. Taking you to section 229, which defines legal representative. So a legal representative, एक one line का definition दिया हुआ है, that a legal representative has the meaning assigned to it in clause 11 of section 1 of Code of Civil Procedure 1908. So यहाँ से income tax में legal representative का definition borrow किया. What does the Code of Civil Procedure say? To summarize, for income tax purposes, it includes all the legal heirs as per the succession laws, be it your Hindu succession law, Muslim succession laws, Parsi succession laws, etc. All the executors of your will. So if a will has been created and somebody has been appointed as an executor of that will, he is covered in this definition. All the administrators of the estate, if a court has appointed somebody to administer the estate, he is covered in this definition. Any person who is handling the estate will be deemed as a legal representative, and all the court appointed representatives in case of proceedings or disputes will all be covered. So it's a very wide definition. Anyone and everyone will be covered in this definition of legal representative, and it is not limited only to a legal heir. Taking you to another definition, section 159, which speaks about the duties and responsibilities of a legal representative. So legal representative, he steps into the shoes of a deceased taxpayer, literally. So all the duties, obligations that were of that assessee before his death are all transferred to his legal representative. There are 6 clauses in this. I will summarize very quickly. The legal representative is liable to pay taxes that the deceased would have been liable to pay to the same extent and the same manner. Any tax proceedings initiated against the deceased before the death will continue against the legal representative from the same stage. Then, proceedings which could have been initiated against the deceased can now be initiated against the legal representative. So all the past proceedings and all the future proceedings, everything is covered. He is deemed to be an assessee under the law. If the legal representative, he disposes of the assets or creates a charge on the asset before paying the income tax liabilities, then the legal representative will be personally liable to pay those taxes. So the personal liability has also been added. And the most important one, the ultimate liability is limited to the value of the estate inherited by the legal representative. So in case you have inherited 10 lakhs and the tax liability is more than that, then your obligation is only up to 10 lakhs, not more than that. This is a very important saving provision that has been given. The next one is section 168, executors. Now, this section will be applicable only when there is an executor who is administering the estate of a deceased person and the estate is not yet fully distributed. If the estate is already distributed, then executor does not come into picture. So, right from the date of death till the date of complete distribution is the responsibility of the executor. To summarize the section 168, all the 4 clauses. So income of the estate is chargeable in tax in the hands of the executor. If there is one executor, it will be taxed as an individual. But if there are multiple executors, let's say a person has 5 kids and he has mentioned every one of them to be an equal executor, then he will be charged as an AOP, and till the time everything is distributed, they will have to take a separate PAN, apply for a separate PAN in the name of estate of that deceased person, and then file returns till the date of distribution. Sir, I'm sorry. मैं finishing batsman मुझे quickly close करना है. Executor's assessment is separate from his personal return. Separate assessments are made for each completed previous year until full distribution is done. And if income is distributed or applied in a specific legatee, so if the estate has been distributed to a legal heir or a legatee, then executor के पैन में से उतना asset, उतना income consider नहीं करना है, balance के ऊपर आपको return file करना है. To summarize, section 159 and 168. After that, there are two parts. One is legal representative covered by section 159 and the another one is section 168, executors appointed by the will or by the court. Now, income earned in the date of death will be taken care of by section 159 and income earned from the estate after the date of death but before distribution is being covered by section 168. Now, both of these sections are mutually exclusive. If no executor is there, then the entire procedure has to be done by 159. And if the executor is appointed, then 168 will come into picture till final distribution is there. Now, a very important process of adding a legal representative on the online portal. This is a practical aspect of it. What documents you need to keep ready? Basic documents. One is copy of death certificate, PAN card of the deceased person, PAN card of the legal heir, and a copy of legal heir certificate. Now, legal heir certificate में they are given multiple options what can be attached as a legal heir certificate. It is either a legal heir certificate issued by the court of law or issued by the local revenue authorities. It is the surviving member certificate issued by local revenue authorities. If there is a registered will, that is acceptable. Family pension certificate issued by state or central government. And the most important and the most practical one, which I think everybody uses, is a letter issued by the bank or a financial institution on their letterhead with the official seal and signature which mentions the particulars of nominee or joint account holder to the account of the deceased at the time of device. So I think this is the most simplest to obtain and most cost effective to obtain and to add a legal representative. Let's say if any document is in a vernacular language for any chance, then as per the guidelines of income tax, you have to translate into English and attach a notarized copy of that particular document. This is a small video tutorial on how to add a legal heir, which I am going to play right now. Posted by the income tax on their own website. So वहीं का link है.
This video is on how to register as a legal heir of deceased person. As per the requirements of the Income Tax Act, in case of a death of a person, the legal representative or the legal heir is required to pay any sum which the deceased would have been liable to pay if the person would not have died. Therefore, the legal representative or the legal heir is required to file income tax return on behalf of the deceased for the income earned by the deceased as a representative assessee of the deceased person. In order to register as a legal heir, you are required to have a valid e-filing user ID and password of your own. Let us now look at step by step how do we register as a legal heir on the e-filing portal. So first of all, log into the e-filing portal using your login ID and password. Post-login, you are required to go to the Authorized Partners tab and click on Register as Representative Assessee. On Register as Representative Assessee page, go through the instructions carefully and then click on Let's Get Started. Here you will see all your active requests as well as inactive requests. In order to create a new request, you are required to click on Press Create New Request. Here Here you are required to give the category of assessee who you want to represent. So if you want to register as a legal heir of deceased, you can select that as a category and then click on continue button. Now you are required to enter the mandatory details and upload the mandatory attachments. The mandatory details are PAN. The name as per PAN and the date of birth will get auto-populated. You are required to give the date of death, the reason for registration, details of all the legal heirs. You are also required to give the details of the bank account of the legal heir. Also, you are required to attach the copy of the PAN card of the deceased, copy of death certificate, copy of the legal heir proof as per the norms. In case you want to file an appeal against an order which has been passed in the name of deceased, you are required to attach a copy of the order passed in the name of the deceased. The copy of letter of indemnity is, however, an optional attachment. Once all the details have been provided, click on continue button. An OTP will be sent on your mobile number and email ID registered on the e-filing portal. You can verify using the OTP. Thereafter, you would be getting a success message that the request has been submitted successfully and will be processed by the Income Tax Department within 7 days. You can click on View Request to view your request. Once the request will be approved by the Income Tax Department, you will be notified on your mobile number as well as email ID. You can then log into the e-filing portal with your login ID and password, and in the profile section you can switch to representative assessee as legal heir. Registering a legal heir is very easy. To know more, you can visit our website www.incometax.gov.in or contact our helpline number.
So it is that easy a process.
नीलेश भाई ये नहीं किया तो क्या
सर आप फाइल नहीं बताओगे ना रिटर्न
कल तो ओटीपी बेस्ड होता है
सर कैसा है कि अगर देयर इज अ डिस्प्यूट तो इट इज इजी टू पुट टू ड्राइव यू टू कोर्ट एंड प्रूव यू लायबल सो दैट्स व्हाई इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट टू गो बाय लॉ
Obviously, there is a OTP issue and it is 100% sure. The appellant has no objection with the OTP filing of return.
Now, I'd like to discuss basics of filing ITR. The first poser is who is responsible to file the ITR of a deceased assessee, like we saw in the legal foundation that I laid. It depends on your circumstances whether you file interstate or you file estate or you become a will. If there is no will, then the responsibility falls as per your succession law, and if there is a will existing, then whoever the executor has been appointed is responsible to do your income tax obligations. Second question is very important: how many returns should be filed in the year of death? There should be 2 ITRs that should be filed. The first one is to be filed by the legal heir for the period which is starting from the first day of the financial year till the date of death, and the second return is to be filed by the executor from the date of death till the end of the financial year, 31st March. So there are 2 returns that should be filed. Different time. How should returns be filed in the years subsequent to death? We have to 2 returns to file कर दिया. उसके बाद क्या? So in case all the asset and liabilities have already been distributed, then the legal heirs in their own personal returns will show those assets, income relating to those assets, and they file their normal return. But if it is yet to be distributed and it is still lying in the estate, then मैंने जो estate का plan बताया, उस process से आप करके filing कर सकते हैं, either as an individual or as a AOP as the case may be. Are the legal heirs of the deceased liable or obligated to inform the income tax department about the death of the assessee? Well, of course, if you are filing, you will add a legal representative. But let's say if you have not done that process and there is a notice or something that has come up, then there is a recent judgment in Delhi High Court in the case of Savita Kapila versus ICAI, where the court held that in absence of a statutory provision, there is no responsibility of the legal heirs or legal representative to inform the department that somebody has died. What about refund of excess tax that was paid by the deceased? will you get a refund or not? And the second portion is, what is the status of recovery of tax liability from legal representative? So section 238 legally entitles a legal representative to claim refund in case of death. So it's section दिया हुआ है हमारे लिए, and the legal representative is liable to pay taxes. He shall also be liable. He shall also be entitled to claim that refund. All that he or she is required to do will be fill up the details of joint bank account while filing the income tax return, and if there is no joint bank account, then give the bank account of legal heir. After due verification, the assessing officer or CPC will issue a refund. And as we saw in section 159 subclause C, the tax liability of legal heir of executor of the deceased shall be limited to the estate that the deceased person has given or transferred to him. What are the consequences of non-filing of income tax return of a deceased assessee? So just like a living person has various consequences, same consequences legal representative को भी आ सकता है. Can assessment reassessment proceedings be initiated for ITR? Yes, they definitely can be. As per section 159(2), all the past and all the future proceedings can be done on legal representative. What is the tax implication on the legal heir who receives all the assets, liabilities and income? So while the legal heir is responsible to pay tax that is earned by the deceased, they themselves are exempt from payment of any tax on the property that is received. So if you see section 56 to 10, specific exemption has been given for any asset that has been received under a will. Correct? Only all your normal laws like period of holding and all of those needs to be taken care of. Can an updated return be filed for previous years to regularize the non-filing or any misfiling of a deceased assessee as per the updated return? Yes, definitely they can do. So this is a very good opportunity. If there is any irregularities for a dead assessee, we should initiate updated returns and get all the records online to avoid any disputes with the party. And in fact, section 139(8)(a) has specifically given in their text, bare text, that the person may furnish an updated return of his income or the income of any other person in respect of which the assessee is liable to pay tax. Now, how to proceed in case of disputes between the legal heirs? This is not a very new thing. A very common thing that a lot of disputes happen after a person has died between their loved ones. In this case, my advice would be, if a person is forcing any disputes, we should plan in advance and create a trust. A trust is normally done in case of large estates and large HNI families. Or we'll have to wait for a court-appointed executor, and if not, if that is also costly affair, then at least for the sake of income tax compliances, you should usually gather, apply for the estate plan and file the return. So with this small topic I have covered, and now the remaining interesting topic about what other changes are there in income tax return shall be taken over by Nilesh.
Just can you explain the members? For example, wife and husband are there, wife got expired, and two people are there. Now husband has to file, has to get the refund of the last return. So obviously he can take it, but I have seen it in section, आपका बिल होना चाहिए, आपका प्रोवाइड होना चाहिए. In this case, normally in our country, ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है उस टाइम पे, because wife husband never thinks provide and bill everything. So in that case, what is the document to be submitted to get that refund of a legal hire?
So bank का जो letter है, that is the most important letter that you can submit.
Bank letter means?
Bank letter that has been given, whereby the bank on their letterhead are saying that he is the nominee of the account or the joint holder.
The bank doesn't give that, because they are asking the question.
They do.
How we say that you are the only nominee?
So bank gives that on the letterhead, and that you can submit to department and they easily clear. So in many of my cases this has happened, and the bank is willing to help them.
It is as per bank record.
As per bank. Sir, I request all questions. इधर personally बात करेंगे. Alright. So I'll see you.
Sir, the tax liability is limited to the amount of estate inherited.
Correct.
Suppose it is inherited loss, then nothing.
Inherited a loss मतलब? So, sir, if you see the wordings of the section, you are first liable to pay taxes and then dispose of all your liabilities.
That loss get clubbed into the parent share of Yamaraj.
So it is saying about liabilities.
He doesn't have the money. He has got how will he pay that his liability?
You'll have to prove that, sir.
Yeah, he will prove his liability.
But you'll have to prove it and do it.
सर एक से ज्यादा लीगल है तो किसकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है?
AOP. और if there is a will के अंदर लिखा हुआ होगा कि he is supposed to deal with my income tax. So while you prepare a will or you advise your client,
बिल है तो एग्जीक्यूटर का रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होता है.
Correct.
बिल नहीं है
तो वो सक्सेशन लॉस के हिसाब से जाएगा. Yes, you have to form. Yes. So any one account के ऊपर आप नॉमिनी ले लो. Finish. और practical solution.
That is very clear. Whenever you want to refund, say your wife expired, now obviously refund will come to husband. In the you first have to apart from this all this case and everything, the first thing is that you have to register your bank on your portal, and that only get registered when your first name, second name, your joint holder. I think the amounts are there. If you get registered, then the refund will come in that bank account. Whether लड़के का है, husband का है, wife का है, whatever may be. If you don't get the refund, the bank should get registered. They don't even get the refund.
Correct. Yes, sir.
When I apply for a PAN in case of estate of like this, what is the status actually?
So status will depend. Are you talking about resident, non-resident? Resident. So if there are multiple people who are executing, then it will be an AOP. If it is a single executor, then it will be an individual. In your form 49A जो होता है for filing of for applying for PAN, so this is how you will decide. Yes, ma'am.
Should we find in the document column, as you suggested, the bank's letterhead?
So then in that case, आपको कोर्ट से लीगल हायर वाला प्रोसेस करके you can do it.
So that is the only option left for an NRI.
There are other practical options, but that can be discussed later.
Is a CAQ certificate that she is the nominee?
That is not accepted by the department because वहाँ पे clearly by court लिखा हुआ है.
मतलब one of the members just asked me because the court receiver asked a letter from a chartered accountant that he is the only nominee and they have accepted that letter.
That will be for the court's purpose. Then court will issue a required certificate that is given. Yes, sir.
Registration instrument are on whose portal?
Sorry, sir, I can't do it.
Which portal है?
On the income tax portal.
On whose portal? This is not. This is not.
No, on the legal hair portal.
Legal head portal.
There is an option where you have to add legal hair. So the video that I showed, so it is available on YouTube by the department. वहाँ पे step by step process दिया हुआ है.
अगर DCC में होता सर तो मैं उसका रिटर्न भर के वही रिफंड क्लेम कर लूँ. It has to be on the legal hair.
Right? I think, sir, yeah.
For how many years I can file the estate returns? I will not distribute the estate so that I can get the additional benefit of the deduction of the basic deduction. So how many years I can prolong that?
So there is no limit to that. Till the time you have distributed, you can do it. There is no limit as such. That has been given. Yes, sir.
Sir, I have just signed yesterday's certificate to the court receiver.
Sorry?
I have yesterday signed a certificate as a CA to a court receiver for one of my clients in respect of his share in his father's proprietary partnership firm when 4 brothers of his father were partners. It took 41 years for the High Court to decide. Now my question is, there was income coming into the court receiver. For 41 years, the court receiver has not filed any income tax returns. Now when the court receiver is telling me after deducting my expenses, you as a CA give a certificate stating that my client will pay, has offered that to income tax and has paid tax on it as per challan number so and so. Is it right? Or should the court receiver also be asked to file the income for the 41 years? My question is that. It's a practical question. Yes.
Practical question, yes. I have faced that as well. But in that case, what I have practically done is, I have shown income whenever I have received on receipt basis and closed it.
Sir, this certificate is to be given before he gets the money from the court.
Correct.
I don't know whether I should pay the tax, because if the court may say, I am not going to give you for whatever reasons. After the consent order has been filed, after the High Court has discharged, the decree has been filed, you should distribute among the 4 limbs of the partnership firm to the 4 heads. My question is, very pointed question, legal representative के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. Should the court receiver have filed the income tax returns for those 41 years? And if not, fine. But then can the court receiver ask me to issue a certificate? They gave me a template saying that, sir, you give me a certificate as a CA saying that this is income taxable in this financial year and I am paying tax on it.
That will be a very costly affair.
No sir, I have found out a way and tomorrow I am getting the check also.
Do share, sir. Do share the way.
Sir, it took me 2 days of continuous thinking, but I have found the solution. 41 years income, it's a big job of masjid bana.
Sir, we are all waiting for your answer.
Answer is stable at a price. To issue the certificate, I have asked 2,50,000 before I have given the certificate. Then Mr. Nilesh, our past president.
So the answer is that only Hitesh Merchant can get that refund.
No, I don't like it. I have a track record of not bribing even for their sons and BSN.
If you have not got that refund sir 5 years के बाद आपको क्वेश्चन होता है सर वो लीगल है चला गया तो क्या करना है
मेरा लीगल है आपको क्लेम करना
All right. Thank you members for patient listening.
See, basically what we are discussing, we can legalize everything. What I understand, अभी भी ये चल रहा है. Otherwise, department is synchronizing everything. Now your foreign travel data, your passport, and everything that is getting linked. Information सब है उनके पास, but there are stages they are integrating. Otherwise, what I understand, so the day the death certificate is issued, everyone knows in the country that the Aadhaar number should get cancelled. It is not happening. आपका बैंक अकाउंट भी चलते हैं, आपको रिफंड भी आता है, still everything is happening. Otherwise, the day the death certificate issues, they know that this Aadhaar number is no longer valid. उनको अगर वो कल के उन्होंने पीछे से AI में अगर उस दिन से Aadhaar number ही बंद कर दिया, तो technically all banks everything will get freeze. But it is not possible practically in our country. That's why they are still continuing and जिसके returns कम होते हैं normally what people do, मतलब that is right, maybe not correct. But after the death, people file the last return, they get the OTP. That is now, and what they show the income, only that income which before the death she was supposed to file. And after that income, you used to get clubbed in the legal heirs and you file accordingly. That is the simplest procedure. Maybe it is not a legal procedure, but that is the simplest procedure what people do. क्योंकि OTP वो आज भी आता होगा. अभी भी if somebody is there upstairs, he knows that मेरे OTP properly आ रहे हैं.
We just said the simple procedure has been vetted by the biggest Vishnu of our CA Institute from Delhi. I don't know to name it.
Okay.
He has agreed with me on this point. He said because it's my own mother-in-law's meeting.
Okay. तो मैं विष्णु के जमाने में वो हिंदी में लेक्चर्स देते हैं.
Mr. Girish Ahuja.
Correct. Okay. Now the important part. 10 points are there, which are very important for returns. एक चीज तो now the capital gains, what you will अपने भी सोचा भी नहीं होगा वो टाइप का setting government has done in this 20% of 20th July after 20th July. Now everyone knows that after 20th July your option either you pay flat 12.5% without indexation and 20% with indexation. Okay. Now if you see the ITR forms, वहाँ पे super change किया उन्होंने. After 20th July, if you see the long-term capital gain working, say example, I have purchased a property, I have sold the property for 15 lakhs, and I have purchased the property for 5 lakhs. Now what are the two answers after 20th July? That I will pay 10 lakhs पे 12.5%. That is comes to 1,25,000. Or in fact, and the index value is 6,67,000. So my profit comes to 8,32,000. So if I pay 8,32 by 20% or I pay 1,25,000, so definitely everyone will plan that मुझे 100% 1,25,000 pay करना है. No issue. You go by 12.5% and you pay. What is the long-term capital gain? Long-term capital gain will be 10 lakh rupees. Okay, and if you have any losses and anything, so आपकी जो gross total income है will be your amount any other income plus 10 lakh rupees is your long-term capital gain. Now I will give you second situation where my sale value is 15 lakh rupees. Now we are discussing everything after 20th July. Before 20th July there is no confusion. Whatever scheme you are going, that will be your long-term capital gain. Say example, if I am doing the indexation method, if say indexation was less, then 15 lakhs minus my index cost is 667. So my profit is 8,32,000. My long-term capital gain, my gross total income will increase by 8,67,000. And if it is 10 lakh rupees, it will increase by 10 lakh rupees. But after 20th July, say for example, I have sold the property for 15 lakh rupees and my purchase value is 8 lakh rupees. Purchase value as on 1/4/2001, it is 8 lakh rupees. Now the indexation is here, everyone know it was 363. So obviously it will be 8 lakhs into 3.63. Okay, so that amount comes to 20, 27, 30 lakh rupees. In that case, if I have sold 15 lakh rupees, sorry, my indexation value, say example it comes to that figure, जिसका 20% is less than the 12.5% of the difference value. See, for example, 50 lakh property, 8 lakh rupees is my purchase cost, 7 lakh का 12.5%, the answer comes to 87,500. And the index cost का 20% comes to 86,471. So definitely after 20th July, your index benefit is much more than 12.5%. So what they are doing, in that return, आपको you don't get the benefit of index. उन्होंने क्या किया है? Your 12.5% tax is 87,000. Your index cost is 86,000. What they say, 1,000 is the extra tax benefit you will get. But your long-term capital gain remains 10 lakh rupees only. आपका long-term capital gain 10 lakhs ही रहेगा. It will not decrease to 8 lakhs or 6 lakhs, whatever index cost is there. It remains 10 lakhs. So in simple example, अगर 60 लाख का प्रॉपर्टी है, 10 लाख में खरीदा है, तो obviously 50 lakhs का 12.5% you have to pay. और लेकिन अगर 10 lakhs का प्रॉपर्टी, if it is a 1/4/2001 into 3.63, it will come to 36 lakhs 30,000. So 60 lakhs minus 36 lakhs, 24 lakhs का 20% is always less than 50 lakhs का 12.5%. तो what would you think कि मेरा capital gain 24 lakhs है? No, in your return, your capital gains will remain 50 lakh rupees, but your tax will be as per the indexation method. वो लोग क्या कर रहे हैं कि आपका 50 lakhs का जो भी टैक्स आएगा, उसमें जितना बचना चाहिए, उतना वो लोग डिडक्शन करके they tell that you have to pay only this much tax. इसका नुकसान ये है कि सरचार्ज का प्रॉब्लम है. Nobody realizes that though your capital gains is only 24 lakh rupees, but your gross total income shows 50 lakh rupees, you have to pay 10%. अगर उसकी वजह से if it increases 1 crore, you have to pay 15%. Surcharge is not levying on that capital gains. वो सारी चीज पे आपका surcharge लग जाएगा. So maybe it may happen आपने 1,00,000 रुपए तो बचा लिया, लेकिन हो सकता है कहीं 2,00,000 रुपए का सच लग गया आपको। दिस में पॉसिबल है या सेटअप कैसे डिस्कस।
So she is asking set of losses will be against indexed gain.
No, 10 less. On 10 less or 50 less. Yeah. But see what we are doing. Though you have mentioned 15 lakh rupees 12.5%, the tax का figure तो वही आता है जो index वाला था. खाली that 50,000 rupees what you are taking more benefit उसका 12.5% tax कम हो जाएगा बस. Otherwise, if you will see that, see I will really request everyone. Because we don't take regular lectures, मैं तो नहीं लेता हूँ, लेकिन lecture लेना था, I know that we are really talented DCSE members, सर कुछ भी पूछ सकते हैं, so study बहुत करना पड़ता है. So yesterday I have done a lots of study उसमें this thing, every 50% maybe utility is not correct, but 50% lots of things already mentioned in our income tax website. कुछ मत करना, just ITR 1, 2, 3, 4, just go through FAQs. There are lots of FAQs. Some FAQs are such that आपको लगेगा ये इसके अंदर question था. I was not ever looking into this. Second thing is in the utility interest on ITR refund is getting automatically reflected. Maybe in our software it is not getting reflected, but in ITR utility yesterday it was automatically getting reflected. So whenever normal people if doesn't know the figure, कभी-कभी हम लोग उसको ignore करके आगे बढ़ जाते हैं. कभी-कभी you never know कि आपको refund आया है. It may happen. Refund was issued, but पिछले 2 साल के demands में से adjust भी हो गया. So you think that there is no refund received in ITR 1 and 2 and you don't show the interest on ITR refund. But there is an interest, so please check it out because sometimes it is getting reflected in AIS, sometimes it is not getting reflected in AIS. There is a problem. Otherwise, refund they used to issue in this. Third thing, TDS on NRI of property. Look, NRIs are not having indexation benefit after 23rd July. They simply have to pay 12.5%. So basically, for resident, there are two schemes. Before 23rd, either 20%, after 23rd, 20 or 12.5%. But NRIs are not having that benefit. It is compulsory 12.5% after 23rd July. So the basic question normally many people faces and there is a confusion कि whenever you buy a property from NRI कितना TDS काटना है. Earlier we used to tell them sir 20% plus 10% surcharge plus 4% cess. Now after 23rd July, now it is a settled law. The TDS will come to only 14.3%. That is 12.5 plus 10 plus 4. It is 14.3%. अगर सामने वाला normally क्या होता है जिस transaction दो CA होते हैं. You are the buyer, he is the seller. So he will tell that sir नहीं आप पूरा tax काट लो. You will say, yeah, you will tell them that sir, हमको 22% काटना है. He will say no, you deduct 14.3%. It is straight away 14.3% because 23rd July we are not discussing now because 23rd July 24 का TDS आदमी ने 31st August तक ही भर दिया होगा because that was the due date. So now everything is happening after 23rd July. So any purchase of property from NRI after 23rd July, it is 14.3% and not 20 plus something. So please take care of that thing.
If it is already deducted 22%,
then pay because see
they have deducted. We are
correct. But see when you for NRI there is not an issue. आपने ज़्यादा काटा होगा उसको ज़्यादा क्रेडिट मिल जाएगा. Only reason is that there are two type of TDS returns. एक pen based return है, एक pen based return in our country. Pen based return is that 1% we deduct on the pen. तो वो उसी में प्रॉब्लम था और जब रेंट पे हम लोग TDS काट रहे थे, that was also pen based. In pen based return, if the percentage is 2% and you have deducted 5%, सामने वाले को 2% ही मिलता है. That is a technical lacuna which is people are facing. But in this NRI वाला में you are not filing the pen based return. आपको compulsory 10 number लेना है. और आप 10 based return में whatever figure you show, that figure credit goes to that person. Simply if a professional, if you are getting professional fees 1 lakh rupees and somebody is deducted 10 की जगह पे किसी ने 20 lakh TDS काट लिया, ऐसा होता है. 20 काट लिया तो you get a benefit of 20,000. You don't get a benefit of 10,000. So that is not a problem in that NRI. आपने ज़्यादा काटा तो ज़्यादा ही मिलेगा उसको. Okay. Now only the one question is last time there is a problem. If my income is 7 lakh rupees and my short term capital gain, my agriculture income, whatever is say 30 lakh rupees, whether I will get a rebate or not. This time I think they have removed the confusion. There was a confusion. if your normal income is less than 7 lakh rupees, other than your special income, though they mentioned कि 7 लाख के ऊपर अगर आपका income जाएगा तो you will not get rebate under 87A. A utility, I have checked it, various examples, a utility gives the benefit of rebate only if your normal income is less than 7 lakh rupees or 7 lakh rupees. Say example, my normal income is 7 lakh rupees and my short term capital gain is 10 lakh rupees. So I say that my income is 17 lakh rupees, I should not get the rebate. Their system is giving the rebate because anyway they are charging separately on short term and long term. So only for that reason they are giving the benefit of normal income rebate. So that 20,000 rebate you will definitely get if your normal income is less than 7 lakh rupees. Maybe your special income may be anything, but if your normal income is less than. Now first thing we decided how we will get 25,000. Can anyone tell? 20,000 तो सबको मालूम है सब कैसे मिलेगा, 25,000 रुपए कैसे मिलेगा? Only there is one scenario where you will get a rebate of 25,000. Can anyone just right idea? Huh? No. That you will get only one case, that is agriculture income. A simple example, your income is 7 lakh rupees, your agriculture income is 2 lakh rupees. So now what will be the tax? Definitely it will be 40,000 rupees. 3 to 7, 20,000 and 7 to 9, another 20,000. Your tax will be 40,000. From that you get a relief of agriculture tax, that is 5% of 2 lakh, because there is a law that lowest rate into 2 lakh rupees. So that will be 10,000 rupees. So now that 40,000 में से 10,000 निकल के your working will say it is 30,000 rupees, and definitely 20,000 you will take rebate because up to 3 to 7 there is 20,000. The system gives you 25,000 wherever there is a agriculture income and your tax liability comes to more than 25,000. It is not giving rebate 20,000 because the higher limit is 25,000. In that case, your answer will be tax payable is only 5,000 and not 10,000. 7 lakh plus 2 lakh agriculture income, tax is 40,000, relief is 10,000, so tax is 30,000 minus 25,000 and you will have to pay 5,000. Otherwise, if this agriculture would have not been there, तो 7 लाख पे आपको रिबेट 20,000 मिलता था. You will not, 20,000 हो ही नहीं सकता कभी भी. Only in case of agriculture income you will get a rebate. So such type of maybe example, कहीं पे भी you just have to add the income for taxation purpose. In those cases, the rebate they are giving is 25,000 instead of 20,000. So that is the only thing you will get. CCAI scheme withdrawal I have told. Yes, there are articles. Capital gain scheme, जैसे everyone knows, if you don't buy anything within the period of filing the return, you deposit. मान लो किसी ने 2 साल पहले कोई खरीदा नहीं है and he has deposited in capital gains account, तो उससे 2 साल खत्म हो रहे. जैसे ही 2 साल खत्म हुए, if you are still not buying the property, definitely you have to pay the tax. So normal here idea, the law what was saying, जो tax मैंने उस दिन बचाया था वो मुझे अभी भर देना है. That is the normal law. If you that time you have not paid 20% tax on the property, that tax you have to pay now. But the system is not doing that. अगर आपने वो टैक्स नहीं भरा था, say example I got a capital gains of 20 lakh rupees and I have not paid that tax and I have put in capital gains account, और 2 साल के बाद I am not buying any property and I have to get that money back. Whatever the 20 lakh rupees pay, at present the tax comes only 12.5% and not 20%. So state way people are saying 7.5%. Now maybe there will be legal implications, I don't know, but they are allowing this. And second thing, वो पैसा आपको ऐसे नहीं मिलता है. Bank first says जाके टैक्स भर के आओ पहले, you show the चलन, आप चलन दिखाओगे, then you will release the your amount because as you have not purchased anything, you will pay the tax. Now this can be a part of tax planning, whatever may be. अगर मान लो आज भी कोई कुछ खरीद रहा है, 20 July के पहले you have capital gains of at the rate of 20%, and if you want to save 7.5% easily, do nothing. After 2 साल के बाद आपको पैसे पे टैक्स भर दो, it will be only 7.5% or whatever rate at that time on capital gains is there. Otherwise, as per law, it has to be 20%, but system is allowing 12.5%. So there may be error, they may rectify.
Interest नहीं बोलना पड़ता.
किसमें?
Interest are
नहीं, interest में tax नहीं है. There is no interest. You anyway you are paying the interest on that capital gains account interest what you are getting from that bank. Now, one question is some initial members are asked. In 3CD forms, I think yesterday only or one day before is now, they have mentioned that you have to make the balance sheet in a specific vertical format. But those returns which are not under audit and we are just filing ITR 3, so how to make the balance sheet? Whether it is a horizontal T format
or our vertical format, it is not clear. They may have mentioned that it should be in a vertical format, but still, if it is not under audit, and anyway, T format is easy to understand by people, client, and what we are doing last 40-50 years. So at present, you can make the balance sheet in T format. Otherwise, as per rule in our tax audit, it is on the format of this vertical format, what they have given. One more section is there from this time, just take care. 194 LBA, interest from business trust, that is REIT, real estate investment thing. Interest from that is under section 194 LBA, TDS is deducted at the rate 10%. But they have specifically mentioned if you follow under condition A, the tax is 5%. If you follow under condition B, it is a 10%. It itself is a big section. Whenever if you are having any income from REIT, please check under which section you fall. In that case, it may happen that your TDS is 10%, but your income tax is only 5%. So just check the section under section 194 LBA if anyone is having that thing. Okay. Now, only as I earlier told, utility is at present is weird only between 7 lakh and 722. Khali wo 7 lakh or 7 lakh 22 pe utility is not working properly, because yesterday I showed my income as 7 lakh 10,000. Actually, the tax should be 10,000 because of marginal relief, because the 10,000, and I added agriculture income. It is showing, the utility is showing rebate 31,000. Actually, you should not get 31,000, but when you put 25,000, it is allowing 25,000. Technically, you should not get 25,000 in that case also, because the tax rebate should be 21,000. But only in between this, that 20,000, the utility is not showing proper answers. So just those who are having income between 7 and 722, please take care. Okay. Now, third thing, this is not related to income tax, just for update regarding TDS, as I think discussed with Ravi also. Whenever those who have filed the TDS returns, sometimes you may show that आपको defective or आपको demand का notice आता है because of inoperative pen. Inoperative pen, if inoperative pen is in case of salary, so you will say example my salary is 4 lakh rupees and the pen is inoperative. What do you think? कितना tax आना चाहिए? What should be the tax liability? 5%? 20%? What should be the tax liability? ओके सो नाउ यहाँ पे वो लोग क्या करते हैं, आपको वॉट एवर नोटिस वी हैव गॉट ना, अगर आप कैलकुलेट करोगे तो आपको 20% के फिगर नहीं बैठेगा, इधर 15 बैठेगा या कभी 25, थोड़ा ज़्यादा कुछ अलग ही बैठेगा, बट 20% इज नॉट कमिंग. द रीजन इज दैट, जस्ट फॉर योर नॉलेज, सो यू डोंट हैव टू गो डीप, इफ योर इन सैलरी इज 4 lakh rupees and if it is an inoperative pen, they are giving the standard deduction benefit of 75,000. First thing. Now 325 pay, they are charging 20%. So that comes to 325 into 65,000. In that 65,000 rupees, because as Ravi just updated me that there is a Supreme Court decision that 87 का rebate तो सही और गलत दोनों को मिलेगा, operative हो inoperative हो. So in that 65,000, that 25,000 rebate they are giving. So if in your computer the demand is say 40,000 rupees, that is a correct demand. And अगर आप सोचोगे कि 4 lakh पे 20,000 कैसे आ गया, so this is the working. They charge, they give the benefit of standard deduction and they give the benefit of rebate also. After that, whatever figure comes, on that 20% is the demand. And if you already paid 5%, then differential 15% will be the demand. So that is the thing which is updated. Second thing, sometimes those who are filing TCS return on traveling business, tour and traveling, whenever you book a tour with say example SOTC for 10 lakh rupees or 7 lakh rupees, they deduct 5% TCS. If you are filing a TCS return of some client, or it happened in our case, in 4th quarter, we got a demand that आपको आपने 5 लाख रुपया दिखाया था and we paid 25,000 और हमको demand आ गया कि आपको 75,000 भरना है. So कोई भी ratio कुछ भी नहीं बैठ रहा था. How this figure comes? Then we came to know after the thorough this thing, first go to your 1st quarter, 2nd quarter, 3rd quarter, 4th quarter के सारे return club करो और वही पेन नंबर पे जितना TDS आपने काटा है उसका टोटल करो, then we realize that the total has increased to 7 lakh rupees. For example, first quarter is 2 lakh rupees, second quarter 2 lakh rupees, third quarter 2 lakh rupees, and say fourth quarter also 2 lakh rupees. Lekin you will never realize in that fourth quarter 2 lakh rupees you were not supposed to deduct TDS 5%. Actually, because you have crossed 7 lakh rupees, आपको next 1 lakh rupees पे 20% काटना था TCS, and that's why. So basically, whenever you get a notice, the TDS return is not for that quarter. In this cases, you have to link all the 3 quarters also. Then only you will get the proper answer. So that is the update regarding this thing. Anything questions regarding the ITR? Otherwise, I am finished with this presentation. Only last thing, I think 80 GGC, just update 80 GGC. I think majority people must have got SMS last 3-4 days. Political party, there is no answer to that. Already in YouTube, there is a video how to manage 80 GGC. Super video, you can just go throughout. 80 GGC, what they have mentioned, डिपार्टमेंट ने भी एक तीर छोड़ा है हवा में, अगर आप डर गए तो भर दो, लेकिन otherwise the action was only on 23 political parties, what they have called RUP, RUPP, registered, unregistered political parties, recognized unregistered political parties of Ahmedabad. All the actions were taken only on those 23 political parties. But now what they have done, उन्होंने सबको भेज दिया है. अगर आपको लग रहा है कि मैंने गलत किया है तो आप खुद भर दो, otherwise you wait and watch what happens. Otherwise they are also not sure, क्योंकि बाकी political parties पे कोई action अभी तक हुआ ही नहीं है. Because anyway when you will fight, you will also ask them ना that what action you have taken them. उन्होंने खाली 23 political parties पे ही लिया है, otherwise they have not taken any action on other political parties. So check it out whether this, and that list of 23 political parties is already there on the website. You can check it out. अगर वो कोई और political parties है, you can take a call accordingly. आपको भरना है नहीं भरना है, whatever may be. And if you are planning to pay the tax on that 80 GGC donation which you have paid in 23, 24 or 22, 23, I will let you know the tax is not 10%, 20% or 30%. The tax comes to 64% because 30% tax, उसके ऊपर फर्स्ट ईयर, सेकंड ईयर, थर्ड ईयर 25%, 50%, 60% अपडेटेड रिटर्न भरना है आपको. तो 60% मतलब योर 30% प्लस 60% प्लस इंटरेस्ट ऑन दैट. So that figures comes to, if it is 2 years before, it comes to 64%. And if it is 1 year before, it comes to 48%. So आप पॉलिटिकल पार्टी का डोनेशन ऐसे सोच के भरोगे कि आई वॉज इन 10% स्लैब, मेरे को तो 10% ही भरना है, ऐसा होगा नहीं.
शॉर्ट टर्म कैपिटल गेन के ऊपर जो लास्ट में डेवलप हुआ था 5 जुलाई के बाद, तो ये बार अलाउ कर रहा है 87 नहीं कर.
शॉर्ट टर्म कैपिटल गेन को नो.
Now that is very clear. On special income there is no rebate. It is only on normal income.
Yes sir.
For senior citizen, on the old utility, it's not working. Silent threshold is not working.
Old utility means?
On the old design, super senior citizen.
Correct.
The pilot.
Request members to please be seated for some time. So let us such an
it is working on
knowledgeable session.
There will be utility problem, sir. That
this is not correct that we are taking a lot of things and we are leaving this on. This is not acceptable.
Yeah. That is your call. They have told it under audit, it is definitely vertical format. But those who are not under audit, you can prepare this one in T format. It is not compulsory for those who are not under audit. They have mentioned that you have to prepare. But still, 3CB just came yesterday. Maybe आपने 15 दिन पहले रिटर्न भरा होगा तो क्या करोगे? If you have prepared a balance sheet, you want to sign it now. Maybe you file the return after 2 months. So which format you will file it now? LLP, I don't know, because ITR 5 is not yet out.
I had a question. Capital gains 1.25 lakhs exemption. Whether that can be claimed for foreign listed assets?
No, it is only for shares.
Yeah.
Listed securities under section 112A.
Yeah, it's a foreign listed security. So whether I can claim that?
No, I am not aware of that.
I think the answer that there are these STT payment is not there for foreign assets.
Yeah, this is only for Indian listed securities.
Yeah. Okay. I got it.
Hello. Hello. Yeah. Sir, you mentioned about the TDS on non-operating, inoperative PANs, giving a salary example. So it is under 206 AA, but it starts, so there is a confusion. It starts with the amount on which tax is deductible. Okay? So if the salary is below the threshold limit, the tax was not at all deductible in the first place. But why the department is doing that?
No. See, there is a confusion between the below threshold limit and below generally what happens, if the salary amount is below threshold limit, you will not get the tax, you will not get any notices. However, if the income is more than threshold limit, but below the debatable amount, that is your income is more than 3 lakh rupees, however it is less than 7 lakh, then only this type of notices come. See, every year department issues a clarification for 24Q. Every year in the month of January. So in that circular, they have specifically mentioned that income tax people will provide 87 rebate on inoperative PAN, but they have not provided the calculation. So how department is calculating it? They are first checking whether the amount is below threshold or not. If the amount is below threshold, net income is below threshold, then no tax. However, as soon as it crosses above threshold limit, then income becomes taxable. So once it crosses threshold limit, they will directly charge the total amount at the rate of 20%, and from that they will give the rebate.
No threshold benefit will be given.
So in that, once it has been crossed above, then there is no threshold limit.
The biggest lacuna in the TDS is that inoperative PAN, today if you check it, they say that आप पहले check कर लो ये inoperative operative है. For example, April में June का return you will be filing by 31st of July, and you will check all the PAN numbers, or there are softwares जो आपको खुद check करके देता है कि whether inoperative or operative है. They will show that all are operative, but those are operative as on the date when you are checking it, because when you are filing return of April में June, अगर 30 जून को inoperative होगा और 1st July को operative होगा, still you will get the notice even though you file the return and it showing operative. That is the biggest problem. वो कहीं भी ये नहीं बता रहे कि किस दिन ये operative होगा. इसलिए practically बोलने के लिए बहुत easy है कि everyday check करो ये operative है कि नहीं है. That is not possible. So that you have to face the problem. Unless they say that when it became operative. Thank you. So connected question. Suppose that going with the same example, if I go for the dividend income, suppose the dividend is less than 10,000 rupees. So going with that logic, the tax should not have been deducted for inoperative PAN also. Yes. If the dividend for one taxpayer is below 10,000 rupees.
Yes, it is not.
But if it is more than 10,000, then 20% straight.
Yes.
Thanks. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I have observed one situation. My income from other sources is 6.5 lakhs. So LTCG is 1.5 lakhs, 112. So rebate will be calculated?
100%. Your normal income is less than 7 lakh rupees, you will get the rebate.
Okay, but what I saw in my scenario, that because that 1,25,000 is added to the GTI for GTI calculation, rebate is not getting calculated.
No, yesterday only I did utility, I checked it. It is properly giving the rebate. Because you have to say that 7,650 plus 1,50,000 is your income.
Yeah.
So 8 lakh minus 125, that is 675.
That 125 I don't think so is deducted for rate. In short term gain goes through and long term gain.
So it is exempt. It is added or not added, now it is very clear. If your normal income is less than 7 lakh rupees, apart from your all other incomes, then you will get the rebate of 20,000 on under 87A.
So this 125 is not deducted. While computing tax, they reduced 125 and
They reduce in schedule SI, if your income is say 2 lakh rupees, there they show only 75,000 rupees. They don't show 2 lakh rupees.
Sir, my question is with regard to the TDS PAN Aadhaar linkage on salary payments. See, suppose the Act says TDS has to be deductible. So when I see deductible, I go to the charging section. I see that, if I compute the tax liability of a particular person, there after getting the relief, that person's tax liability itself is zero. So So why should I deduct 20%? Should it not be a case because the TDS is not at all deductible, so that 20% has to be applied on zero. So it appears that there should.
So your answer is absolutely correct. Up to 7 lakhs और this year up to 12 lakhs तो मैं काटूं कि नहीं काटूं, operating inoperative क्यों लगना चाहिए? That is not the criteria. They want to find out which are the inoperative parents who are not filing the return. Maybe that is their view. So those because see आपका इनकम 12 लाख रुपया है, आपको रिटर्न का टैक्स नहीं लगता है, लेकिन your income more than basic exemption limit 100% you are supposed to file the return. So those who are having more than 4 lakh, 3 lakh rupees and still they are not filing the return and they are inoperative, उन लोगों को ढूंढने के लिए उन्होंने ये tax liability रखा.
Suppose because of that the demand comes, is it a good case to defend before the CIT appeal of the higher?
It will not. It will not, because 206 is the penalty section. Whenever there is a penalty section, it would be above the whatever it is allowed. So according to me, if you go with department also stating that sir my is below limit or my below threshold limit, rebate should be provided. So they will say if rebate is there, 5 year return and claim the rebate.
But is it not a case that there is no liability at all for that?
That's why they are saying the same thing. If you want to claim the rebate, you file your return and claim the refund from the income tax department. It will not give a relaxation to the debtor. The relaxation will be provided only to the debtor once he link his PAN with the other and he files his return. See, in TDS, whenever any excess TDS is deducted, there is always a provision of taking the return.
So my question is with regard to deductor. Suppose a deductor has taken a view that there should not be any TDS in that case. Under 201, suppose he is penalized for that. So can he say that that TDS was not at all deductible? Is it a good case, at least some chance to defend the case before commissioner TDS issued?
First of all, CIT will never give benefit on our whatever we are claiming. It will always give the benefit what the benefit is provided to the department. It will always look from the view of the department. Last question.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Capital gain account is when can you open? On 31st July due date or?
Normally experience says capital gains account 18 में नहीं खुलता है, it takes 7 to 10 days. So initially, if for the safety purpose, if we say that July 31st was the last day, so before that you have to file the return. This year they will not mention anything, so you can take that 15 September is the last date. But if you want to open the account, please be prepared at least 15 to 20 days before. Don't want the last day, after last day the account नहीं open होगा.
Now I request our Past Advisor CEO Rajendra to please give a well-deserved vote of thanks.
Good morning, members. It is a pleasant task to propose a well-deserved vote of thanks to both in-house speaker Nilesh, Vasa and Heir, who has taken this subject in the most excellent and lucid manner. They have taught us what are the various discrepancies in the income tax forms and how we can come out of it. Your Nilesh and Heir, we are really thankful to you for accepting our invitation. Your presentation was excellent and you could spare your time. I heard that you have done your jubilee at 2 p.m. in the night, so we are indeed thankful to you for such a wonderful session. On behalf of Borivali Central City Services, I propose a well-deserved vote of thanks and request the members to gather the vote. Thank you.
We welcome our past president, C. Heir sir, and our current CCM, C. Bhupatrai sir, on the stage.
All the students whom we are going to felicitate, please come in the front side. Everyone, please come in the front side. With their parents, please come in the front side. It will be a 5 minutes for the change of dress, but I request all the students and all the parents, please come in front. You can occupy any of the seats here.